Everybody,
banned from our
in light of the recent appeals court decision not to hear the case or let the case go forward, I wanted to just record a little message for everybody here. The first thing I want to say is this: thank you to all of you out there who are so supportive and kind and encouraging. You know, the reality is there are only about 10 or 15 loud people that are daily pushing this narrative and all of this negativity. Seriously, there are like 15, maybe 20 at the most, of people that are actively defaming and slandering me online and bullying conventions and threatening and bullying convention organizers not to have me and other voice actors not to do events with me. I don't really understand why. Like, how do they benefit? How does it benefit
I can tell you
them?
That's super
to
easy.
Keep me from being at an event. I mean, it doesn't. It's a rhetorical question. It doesn't benefit
No, it's not.
them.
Of course it does.
Unless they get some twisted pleasure out of keeping me from making a living and keeping other fans that want to meet me and appreciate my work from doing so.
You can work at the Olive
Garden. There
Garden.
are 10,000 of you for every one of them.
There's really not.
Maybe more. And I just want you to know how thankful I am for that.
Because an appeal to numbers is fantastic.
The
That's
second thing I
definitely
want
the
to say
truth.
is this. Please, whether you hate me or like me, whether you support me or condemn me, regardless, it's
I don't
fine
even care about
if
you.
you can't stand me.
I don't care about you, dude.
But please hear what I'm about to say.
Okay.
They haven't won anything.
But like
That's-
$250,000.
You
That's
can't
something.
win if you don't allow the game to be played.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right.
All that has happened here is they've kept the case from being heard.
Come here, man. There's like no anti-SLAPP.
That's what's happened.
Just come do it.
There
Come
wasn't a presentation of the facts and evidence
of course there
and a
was.
verdict and proof of anything. It never got to that stage.
Yeah, because you didn't have
People
any
talk
evidence,
about Johnny Depp's thing all the time. Well, Johnny Depp had his case heard in front of a jury, and they made a decision. It never even got
Johnny
to that
Depp.
with me.
God, I wish you were that clever.
It's kind of like if two baseball teams went to a stadium, and one baseball team locks the other team in the locker room and then goes, "We won!"
What?
No, that's not winning.
Well, no,
you can't win if you
there was a game
never
you didn't
allow
show up to play.
Yeah, I mean, Ty really fumbled your game. You had a shitty
if they want to
quarterback.
win, let the facts be
baseball.
heard. That's what I would say.
Sorry.
If you want to win, if you want to claim some kind of victory,
wasn't really
let it go to trial. Don't file motions to shut it down before the case can ever be heard.
Sue me in Arizona. But we have like no anti-SLAPP protection.
The last thing I want to say is, for those of you that don't completely understand the case.
Oh, the problem is people
this
do.
Was not this is not any kind of a proof of guilt. There was not a trial.
Correct.
To decide guilt or innocence. So if you're out there thinking, oh, well, Vic must be guilty. No, there was no pronouncement of any kind of guilt. This was not a verdict. The appeals court simply decided to refuse to allow the case to move forward. That is not a pronouncement of any guilt or innocence.
For any of your claims, you had zero evidence.
It's basically just not allowing the case to move forward.
Well, they really didn't let it go forward because Ty fucked it up really bad too.
Right. But here's the thing: even with Ty, everything Ty had,
the point is that there was not
he didn't have evidence to back up any of his claims.
Proof or
and supposedly the evidence he did have wasn't able to be entered in because he fumbled,
again,
like he didn't get it properly notarized.
Right, but even if he did, it wouldn't have made a difference.
I'm just saying, like that's what they're saying, like that's like the cope, right?
The worst part is those people should really read Vic's testimony from the end of the case when the judge is asking questions. And he's like, it wasn't these people, it was death by 1,000 cuts, it was like, and these are literally words that he said. And it's like, yeah, so you're just admitting to the judge that it was not these people that put your career into a death spiral. It was your behavior over years of time led to people having the impression that you were a grabby person that does not respect boundaries. And the reason people believe that is because it's true. Not because they don't like you.
Are you sure about that? I heard that you're the guy that perjured himself.
Yes, so much. Like I can't actually get my day started without like a strong coffee and some perjury.
That is a good way to start the morning.
The one thing I love about it is it's like, you committed perjury. Okay, what is it you think I lied about? Stuff you said. What stuff that I said? And they don't have an answer because Nick hasn't told them.
Yeah, I never looked into the stuff you said, mostly because I didn't care.
Right.
You know,
right.
So I don't know if you committed perjury. I don't think you did. I've never been showed proof of it. That's for sure.
Well, that's the thing. They claim they have it, and it's like, well, if you have it, then why aren't you calling the police?
Yeah.
Like, if all these people are lying, where are the handcuffs? Like, that's a felony offense. in some cases,
So,
like
I'm going to interrupt real quick because we didn't say hello to the chat or even introduce our guest.
We
hello,
didn't.
everybody. How are you tonight? How is everybody this evening?
What's going on, guys? We have a wonderful show for you guys. We have a very, very special guest, my boyfriend Emmett Plant.
I don't. I'm only like very special in like Special Olympics terms, right?
Like, no, you're special to me, boo.
I appreciate that, Dean.
Yeah, and, no problem.
I am ready at all times to, receive your romantic overtures.
Let's go ahead and read through the chat. We have a very angry person in the chat.
Oh, okay.
We have a very, very angry Spirit Jr.
Turncoats.
Wait, isn't that the guy who like harassed that chick at a con? Or is that somebody else?
No, that was Spirit.
Yeah, that was Spirit.
Well, shit. I would like you to cut that turncoat to my fit, if that's the situation. Like, holy shit, sign me up.
And then he says, "Feckin' Benedict Arnold." All right.
I think that's us.
I would give him $50 if he could tell me something about Benedict Arnold without looking it up on the internet.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, well, you'd have me there too.
Yeah.
Right, but he's using terms he does not understand.
That's most terms for Spirit.
Yeah.
Jack Stafford decided to stop by. Ahoy, Jack. We've got, of course, we have Vorge.
Yeah.
And our fake producer, Colonel Morg, is in the chat.
Yeah. We also have a Dorkable cosplayer. Yeah. So it's a pretty lively chat. Oh, Cornbread Man says, hi to all EFAPers out there. I mean, that is probably going to happen.
What's an EFAPer?
EFAPing is when you live stream someone else's live stream.
Okay.
And then it's mostly used to talk shit.
Yeah, every frame of pause is what EFAP stands for. Because Google won't let you just flat out play it. You have to pause every so often. It's pretty much what we're going to be doing with Nick Rekieta's Cope stream, but we cut it up into pieces to make it more manageable.
Yeah, that statement from Vic, like that was hard. I just wanted to Mystery Science Theater my way through the entire thing because he's just lying. Like he's just straight up lying to his fans.
Yeah. There are rules.
To everybody on Twitter.
There are rules and laws in place and procedure, and the court followed procedure. And Toye and Markey and Real, and Fundamation, they filed according to procedure and
Ty
did what they were allowed to do.
And Ty didn't.
And shit happened.
Well, here's the thing, like, as much as you want to blame Ty, and I think he's responsible for a lot of
I mean
no, I'm serious. He's responsible, but like, let's say personally I would give his blame at 50%. The other 50% is absolutely rage monster Vic Mignogna going to lawyers trying to get them to take this case and them saying, no, this is not a case, or no, this is not a case and you won't win. And no, this is not a case and you won't win, and you're going to be working for your defendants for the rest of your life. And he didn't like those answers. So he went to a drunk YouTuber who recommended his family estate attorney, and this is what happened. Like, all of this could have been avoided early on if Vic had actually taken the legal advice he got from smart people.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
We should
yeah,
get to the beginning of how all this happened.
Let's watch how it started.
How can I see the chat? Where does that live?
On YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I'm not hearing it, Dean.
Yeah, neither am I, and that's very bizarre. Because I heard it. It did work originally, so let's see.
How'd you break it?
I don't know, but it was playing originally. I remember because we were laughing about how
I don't hear
awful.
it, but it's playing on YouTube.
Is it? Because I just don't hear it.
Yeah, I'm hearing him.
Well, okay then.
It's on the screen right now.
What?
On YouTube.
Oh. That makes
I'm
sense.
just gonna listen to it there.
I'm here
All right.
to talk to you about
Yeah, now it's paused. It stopped.
would look like if Vic Mignogna decided to sue
There it
everyone who ruined his career. All right, so buckle up.
Yeah.
So Caitlin Saucedo kicks this off.
No,
that is
no,
on
it'll be
January
there.
17th, the day after the Broly movie happens. Now this starts to build and build and build over the next couple weeks, and then the real bombshells start dropping when Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial, co-workers of Vic for at least a decade or more, drop their accusations.
Yeah, I'm hearing
so after these tweets drop very quickly, Funimation and Rooster Teeth. I don't have the Rooster Teeth screen cap because they didn't say much at all. Rooster Teeth just said they're cutting all ties with Vic Mignogna. He won't be voicing on Ruby anymore. That was the production house that did Ruby. Funimation made a longer statement, and I do want to talk about it for a very specific reason. They said that they've recast Vic in Morose Mononoke in Season 2, which means they got someone else to play the part that Vic was playing, and they will no longer be engaging him in future productions. Following Funimation and Rooster Teeth dropping Vic Mignogna, you've got conventions all over the country canceling his convention appearances. My count is somewhere between 15 and 20 conventions. It may be more, it may be less, but I don't think it's less than 15. First of all, everyone I just named, Saucedo, Marchi, Rial, Rooster Teeth, and Funimation, all get sued. They all get sued immediately as fast as possible. You've got defamation of character because you've got potentially false statements being made with the intent to cause damage to someone. The damage is caused, and economic loss has definitely occurred. Contracts have been canceled. Nothing else to be said.
No, they haven't.
And big contracts, right?
Then show us one of them.
You've got
show us one of them.
Whatchamacallit? You've got negligence per se as one of the possible things, because some of the things that they shared, retweeted, or said could be negligent. So it's not necessarily malicious statements. It's not necessarily defamatory statements, but maybe they're just sharing stuff. This would apply possibly to Caitlin Saucedo the most. You've got potentially tortious interference with contract or prospective business relations. Next.
Who listens to this guy?
All the conventions.
Too many people.
A lot of people, surprisingly.
Well, if Vic decides to pursue it. So I'm putting out a call for help. In the event that Vic decides to take this lawsuit, decides to go after these people for destroying his career based on false allegations, in the event that he does that, I want to be able to immediately give the information to Vic and his attorneys so that they don't have to sift through all of this stuff. It's going to save them time. It's going to save Vic money. So if you care about this community, if you care about Vic, if he's been inspiring for you, if he's talked to you and been nice, if you've had a good experience with Vic, here's what I need you to do.
But what if the accusations weren't false? Would you like, if you knew then that they were not false, would you still have pursued this?
Well, okay. Like, I mean, I'll press play. Actually, yeah, I'll just press play. Well, it's almost over.
And everything from important verifiable people. Archive it. Send an email to rekietalaw@gmail.com. Subject, Vic info. This will help me sort all of the stuff coming in very easily and separate it from other stuff that I get at this email address, okay? If a law firm takes this case, if Vic goes forward, I will make sure this info gets to that firm as fast as possible, and I will keep funneling them any information that's necessary.
That's how good Nick is.
Yeah, that video was I think it was his first edited video, but it was the second video where he talked about Vic. That happened on February the 18th.
Yeah. And so that's actually funny because the timeline's kind of fucky, because apparently I mean, as we'll see in our Nick Rekieta Cope stream, he referred him to Ty apparently on the 16th.
Or the 17th, yeah.
Before he had, and then he launches the GoFundMe, and he never actually discloses that he had actually already got a lawyer to Vic.
Yeah, and he never told anybody that Ty was his family's estate attorney.
But until later when he gets called on it, like a year into it or a year or two.
Well, yeah, when people went digging and he got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and...
my thoughts are, if you donated to that GoFundMe, you should try to get your money back, because Nick was just straight up lying.
Yeah, because I was on the Vic side, right? But I don't know, Nick straight up, he did fucking grift people into supporting something that he was, it was very untruthful.
Here's what, the one thing you have to understand is that you would like to think that Nick is the kind of person that once he got all this information from people, he would probably be able to figure out that a lot of people know about Vic's activities and have been talking about it for years. But there's no show there. So I would like to think that if he had gotten all the information and read it, and which I don't think he did, he would be like, oh, well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going back many, many years about this guy being inappropriate.
Oh, no.
Well, I imagine...
Emmett, wait, guys. Because according to Nick, he doesn't even know what the accusations on Vic really are.
Right. But here's the thing. He then had to go and try to make those stories about Vic false, mainly just by calling people fat and saying that they're irrelevant and saying pretty much everything other than here is proof that this person is lying.
Yeah.
Right? Because he never does that ever. That's not his game.
Yeah.
So he has to, but there's a show in getting people to believe this nonsense, but it can only go on for so long. The problem is, if that length of time is 4 years, people like Nick can make money on it.
Yeah.
So,
I imagine, though, that the only responses he was getting were archives from tweets at the time that would be not very useful. That's why you had
340
nearly 350 tweets that Ty had attached to his amended claim. I mean, it was just garbage in and garbage out. There wasn't anybody actually doing research to try and find any kind of
and
anything
that's the thing.
From years ago.
Nick's law firm handles exactly as many cases as mine, which is none, right?
Yeah.
Lawyers have paralegals and a staff around them to say hey, dig into this. But he doesn't have those people. It's just Nick, and God help him if he's awake and sober, because anybody he would have talked to that knows what they're talking about would have said, oh yeah, that's Vic. He's been doing this shit for years. He's getting thrown out of cons. He's definitely, he's put himself in a really bad position for a very long time. So this is inevitable. And I think if he had those people around him, he'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to pursue this anymore. I don't have to get into this.
No, but instead he had else. A panel with Yellow Flash and Hero Hay of all,
Gator.
just really qualified people to really give him the lowdown on what's going on.
Yeah. Right. But my thoughts are if Nick was deceived into this whole thing, then he's just a huge sucker.
Yeah.
But he was, because he said over and over again that it's oh, it's all lies that they're talking about Vic, and it's no, man, no.
Do you want to do the GoFundMe video?
I thought we would. Okay, sure.
It doesn't matter to me.
No, we'll watch.
Yeah. Fucking clown.
If this litigation got resolved, then your fan base wouldn't have to donate to your GoFundMe campaign.
They don't have to donate. No one is compelling them to donate.
No one's asking them to donate.
I'm sorry?
And no one's asking them to donate.
Not that I know of. I have nothing to do with that.
I'm asking. Please
donate.
donate.
Do you know how the money is spent?
No, sir.
So who makes sure the money is actually spent for your benefit?
I didn't set it up. I don't know anything
Objection
about it.
unresponsive.
I don't know.
So you have a GoFundMe campaign out there in your name. Do you know how much money's in it?
No, sir.
You have no clue?
No, sir.
So somebody's raising money with your name and face on a GoFundMe page. Would you agree with that?
That's what I've been told, yes.
And you have no idea? Do you know who runs that account?
Do I know who funds the account?
Runs the account.
Oh. I believe it was set up by a gentleman named Nick Rekieta.
Hey there. Hey there. Hey there.
This is the GoFundMe. I gotta update the amount for Vic Mignogna. We're at $7,054. Listen, I set up this GoFundMe this afternoon. It's doing very, very well. 4 hours, we're at $7,054. It's over $1,000 an hour. That is great. We are shooting for that $100,000 goal because, guys, this litigation could cost that much. There's one point that's really super important. I am not representing Vic in a legal capacity. I'm not his lawyer. I can't be his lawyer. He's out of my jurisdiction. If he asked me to be his lawyer, I would say no. The firm that Vic has, and I do know the firm that Vic has, I know who they are. I am in contact with them in regards to setting up this GoFundMe, okay? So, they are a firm that is much more capable of dealing with something like this than I am.
No one wants to see this lawsuit go this way.
I'm not sure.
You guys don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
You know Vic doesn't. The only people who want to see it go this way are people like me. People like the fans. Who are sick of your garbage and who want blood.
Let's read the words of Vic himself. This was sent by Vic's verified Twitter account. It was sent at 7:32 p.m. Central Time on February 20th. Okay, let's read this statement. Words cannot express the depth of my gratitude for all the kindness and support that has been shown to me over the last few weeks. I had hoped that my apologies and acknowledgments, both public and private, would be received. But I have now, very reluctantly, retained a law firm as my last and only recourse to attempt to salvage my reputation and my 20-year career in this industry. A friend expressed a desire to set up a GoFundMe for legal expenses. I approved his kind offer and am so grateful, but I am not managing it, nor will I personally receive any of it. Any surplus will go to the Salvation Army Dallas Domestic Violence and Abuse Shelters. I hold no malice toward anyone. I just love my work and the fans and sincerely wish to continue.
Yeah, I think you love
this is Beard Harris, Bullock & Hughes, attorneys at law. They have an office in Tyler, Texas. They have an office in Frisco, Texas, which is a north suburb of Dallas. But let's get to the attorneys.
So that's my biggest issue with this all, right? Is that, like, I don't, like, maybe it isn't that big of a deal that he referred him to his family's estate lawyer. I think it's weird, but what I really, really, really dislike is that he didn't disclose that to the people he asked to donate.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is very important. The verbiage on that page is that this money was to be used for Vic Mignogna's legal defense. And
he handed it over to his lawyers.
He was a plaintiff.
Yeah.
He wasn't being sued.
Yeah, that's true.
It was so he could sue other people. That's not defense.
Yeah,
that's not legal defense.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is Vic's lawsuit that he's lost 35 times now, not somebody else's that Vic needs to be defended from.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the full disclosure here in just a second.
Let's get to the attorneys. Ty Beard, Don Harris. We've got Brian Hughes, Senator Brian Hughes. So that's a Texas state senator that is on the law firm. Guys, this is not a legitimate firm at all. Don't worry. These are just backwood Hicks attorneys that no one's ever heard of. This is a firm of litigators, of fighters.
Is it?
And therefore, you're not
the
going to
senator's
see the
gone.
same legal approach that you've seen.
Everyone's gone but Beard.
Really?
On other types like this. They don't
wow.
move slow. They move fast. They, in many ways can go straight for the heart because they are prepared to go straight. Full disclosure, I need to say this for full disclosure. I do know Ty Beard
I do know him. I have met. If people were to like dig around, they might see that on Facebook, Ty and I are friends, and there's, that's there. So I will put that out ahead of time. I know and have met Ty Beard.
Well, okay, so that's also really funny.
That's because he manages my family's estate.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
that's how I
know
says
him.
that.
No,
he
no,
never
no.
says that he's a client.
But now, just 2 days ago, when he's retelling how he got involved, and you will see this, he says that I don't believe that I had ever met Ty up to this point.
Right.
And it's like,
yeah.
Okay. Like, all right, bud.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and like, it's something I don't really have a lot of experience with, because I'm like the first person in my family who doesn't work law enforcement, right? So I don't really know how families handle their estates, but I know that if there's a situation where I'm getting a check from someone, I'm gonna know who they are, right? So if Nick has gotten a check from this guy, he's like, "Oh, it's my trust attorney." Like, "Oh, all right then, man." But that's it's weird to be like, I've never met him. I may have met him. I think I've met him. We're friends on Facebook. But it's like, dude,
yeah, but you
for your family.
Yeah, exactly. And you've never
done
exactly that part.
You've done exactly as much investigation into this guy as you have into the accusations against Vic.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and watch the Rekieta Cope stream, because there's some gold in there.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host. Your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, small law firm in Central Minnesota.
Very small.
Does he even represent clients?
How are y'all doing
tonight?
I don't know. I doubt it.
I'm doing
He has no clients.
I'm doing
He admits it in the stream.
Absolutely terrible. But, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
Yes, it is.
How drunk is he?
Beta, way it goes, Rekieta.
He's so sober here.
It changes.
Long time of waiting.
Yeah.
We've got very depressing news. A lot of people who are here watching have no idea what this case was, but it was a huge part of this channel back when it happened. And this is a case of Victor Mignogna. He is an American voice actor for Japanese cartoons.
He hasn't been for years.
The anime world is an insular and incestuous pit of nepotism and in-group, out-group thinking.
Really? Who does Vic's estates?
Until he was no longer on the in-group and became on the out-group.
Okay. Okay. Give me a second. Because people are saying that the clip is too quiet. So.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna fix that.
But maybe
I wasn't in charge
Nick is just too awesome.
What?
Like maybe Nick is just too awesome. Like
maybe.
He's so good at this that even a whisper of his wisdom can move mountains.
Yeah. That's probably what it is.
You're just looking out for your viewership and saying, it's like the Ark of the Covenant. If you stare at Nick too long or hear him at full volume, your face would explode
and melt. I like that melty scene. That's the best part of the movie.
That means literally nothing to me still. This is at the beginning of 2019. By February of 2019, February 11th to be specific, after many calls for it from the Twitter masses, importantly with reinforcement from people like Monica Rial.
Let me know if that's better, guys.
Vic would be fired as a voice actor by Funimation, the largest voice acting studio for anime cartoons in the United States. Most importantly, to any story is where I come into it. Okay.
Okay, that's why we started with how it started, because
we're not even sure you come into your wife, my friend.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, he must, because they have like 20 million children.
They do.
Yeah, how do you know they're his? Would you fuck Nick?
No.
All right then.
Well, there is that massage parlor guy.
Are they also stupid?
There was a massage guy.
Yeah,
show me some proof.
Rekieta's wife
loud and stupid?
told this story on his stream about how she went to this massage parlor, and the first time the guy massaged her breasts, and it was so awkward she didn't know what to do, and then she went back a second time.
So that he could do it again.
And I think there was a third.
Well,
yeah.
Look, would either of you guys have sex with this dude?
No.
No, I have sex with a lot of men, so.
No.
Yeah. That's like yeah. But people
He's
are
raising the masseuse's children, according to Thomas.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, people are still complaining that the volume is low. So, we're going to change how we watch it.
Yay.
Yeah.
This isn't my fault because I wasn't in charge of this.
It is kind of her fault. It is kind of her fault.
He always blames me, Emmett. He blames me for everything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Expect?
Wouldn't you?
Probably.
I probably would.
Yeah. Okay. So
I can't help. I'm literally playing Fortnite right now. So. Oh, fine.
It's okay. But you guys talk so that's not just like nothing.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Vicky, what is the best pizza you've ever had?
There's this place where I used to live in California in Castro Valley. It had no, Hayward. It was this little place in Hayward. It was a brew pub, and they did this pizza on sourdough, and all of the meat came fresh from the smokehouse down the street.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah. So it was really good.
That
was probably the best.
Really, really good.
Buffalo Bills is what it's called.
Buffalo Soldier.
Anyways. Walking with no pants?
No.
At any point are you expected to put the fucking lotion in the basket?
It was way before that movie came out.
Okay.
Rekieta Law, small law firm in central Minnesota.
Much better, I think.
Hate to ask, but how are y'all doing tonight?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm doing terrible. I am doing absolutely terrible. But you know, that's the way it goes. That's the way.
It doesn't even mean anything. He's just using words.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Vic Mignogna decision finally came back, and after a long time,
that's the way it goes.
We've got very depressing news. There's a lot of people
just
who are here
depressing.
Have no idea what this case was, but it was a huge part of this channel.
Still can't hear it.
This is a case of.
Well, that's just awful.
Well, motherfucker, buy some Q-tips. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I do know what to tell you. It's fine, because I'll fix it, guys, because I'm that kind of person.
Professional sound guy says, clean your fucking ears.
That's funny. But
I'm hearing it on
yeah.
On YouTube.
Oh, are they just complaining?
I'm hearing it fine. I think they're just fucking with you because I'm hearing it fine.
Yeah. It's more quiet now. All right. Well,
so there was a prank that the guys of Monty Python tried to pull at one point. And the idea was, as the episode went on that they were making, they were going to lower the volume a little bit by a little bit over the entire half hour of the show. And then at the end, they were going to just unleash the loudest noise they possibly could to just freak everyone the fuck out who's been slowly turning up the audio throughout the entire episode. The BBC said they weren't allowed to do it, but it sounds like you're trying to do it right now.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Dean Fucks heard something when he rendered the video.
Yeah, I did. I had the volume.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lost Planning.
Pretty damn.
Interwebs.
That's better.
Make us listen to the beginning again. Can
Nope.
skip forward just
Nick
a little?
Rekieta Law, small law firm in central Minnesota. I hate to ask, but how are y'all doing tonight? I'm doing terrible. I am doing absolutely terrible. But you know, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
That's the way she goes, guys. Fucking way she goes.
The Vic Mignogna decision.
What could we have done? It's just the way things go.
A long time of waiting. We got very depressing news. A lot of people who are here watching have no idea what this case was, but it was a huge part of this channel back when it happened. And this is a case of Victor Mignogna. He is an American voice actor for Japanese cartoons, popularly known as anime. The anime world is an insular and incestuous
fucking way she goes, Bubbles.
Nepotism and in-group, out-group thinking. Vic was on the in-group for quite some time until he was no longer on the in-group and became on the out-group.
Wow. Those were words?
He was
I'm
Rohan
not sure
and
how that...
JoJo. Okay. That means literally nothing to me still. This is at the beginning of 2019. By February of 2019, February 11th to be specific, after many calls for it from the Twitter masses, importantly, with reinforcement from people like Monica Rial and Jamie Markey, Vic would be fired as a voice actor by Funimation, the largest voice acting studio for anime cartoons in the United States. Most importantly, to any story is where I come into it. Okay? This is where I come in. So by February 11th of 2019, Vic Mignogna is fired from Funimation. And quickly, this becomes a subject of discussion online.
By you.
A panel discussion with Yellow Flash, Anime Outsiders, I think that Umbrella guy?
No, he wasn't there.
Maybe Hirohei.
Hirohei and Gator from the Kill Stream.
Off the top of my head. But we had a panel discussion talking about the allegations. I had looked at it and asked around. I did not find much credibility in the accusations at all. But we talked about the show. Or we talked about it on the show. I believe that was the show that prior to that, I had sent an email to Vic Mignogna, who I have never met prior to this point. I've never spoken to, didn't even know who he was, but I was given his email address, which turned out to be public anyway, by Anime Outsiders. And I made contact with him and just said, hey, we're doing a show talking about your situation.
What does Anime Outsiders mean? Is that a person?
It's ran by a guy named Cody, and I think they do articles about... it's like Kotaku, but not left-leaning.
Okay.
I want to say.
I guess.
I've talked to Cody from Anime Outsiders, actually. I had him on a stream where we shit on that Umbrella guy.
It sounds like, because like I was trying to figure out if Anime Outsiders was like the name of a thing, or like I got all this information from people who don't know fuck all about anime. Well, that would
They're
make
the
sense.
Outsiders of anime.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's ran by a guy named Cody. When he says Anime Outsiders, he's talking about a guy named Cody.
Okay.
Now, so wait, just a little bit further. I'm gonna pause it.
He politely declined to do the show, which was obviously a smart move. He should.
So like, my one of my big problems now is that like we're supposed to believe that Nick Rekieta, this whole thing has been in Vic's best interest, and it was by Nick Rekieta. When Nick Rekieta's original thing was to ask him onto the show, knowing that it wouldn't be a good thing for Vic.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm supposed to believe that Nick has done this all from like the bottom of his heart with the best of intentions.
Right.
Yeah.
Not have done the show, but, courtesy and grifting demanded that I ask, if he would like to. After the show, I was contacted again by Vic Mignogna, and a discussion of hiring a lawyer came up. I was asked whether or not I knew of any lawyers who could handle that case. So I mentioned that there is a lawyer in Texas with a firm with the resources to handle a case of that size. And I made the referral, so to speak, to get into contact with a guy named Ty Beard.
Yeah. So like this is not how it was laid out in public when it happened, though.
No. It was February the 16th when he had the discussion with Anime Outsiders, Gator, and Yellow Flash, right?
And Hero, yeah.
He'd already been in contact with Vic. Vic said no. Then Vic contacts him after the show. By the 19th, Rekieta's setting up the GoFundMe.
But he doesn't ever tell people that there's already a lawyer that's been decided. That he didn't launch because like I was on the Vic side, and I know for sure he didn't tell people that they had already found a lawyer. It was that Vic was still looking for a lawyer.
Right. And then so it all happens extremely quickly. On the 20th is when Vic tweets out his big thanks for the GoFundMe and that he's got an attorney. So within 4 days, basically, Vic has an attorney who happens to be Rekieta's attorney and his good friend Ty Beard. And Nick is funneling money to Ty Beard through a GoFundMe.
Guys, I actually have some important information that your viewers might want to know.
What's up?
I just lost at Fortnite. I got 5th place, but I got killed.
Aww.
Well, damn.
All right.
That is important.
It's always somebody with a lightsaber. I think that I can't tell if it's anti-Semitic or anti-Star Trek. Like,
it's probably both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
A whole lot has been said about my involvement in this case, my demand that Vic hire Ty, my demand that Vic sue these people. None of that has ever been true. I laugh it off all the time. I believe I've stated online several times that none of it's true, but none of that is true. If you ask me for a phone number, I can give you a phone number.
What's your evidence?
I can't make you hire someone. I can't suggest you hire someone. I don't really care if you hire someone.
Way to downplay his involvement, though. You hyped this whole thing up. The only reason he was talked into suing was because you made it sound like such an awesome idea.
Yeah,
right. It was just going to be so easy. He had a great case. And
please share all of your texts and emails with Vic.
I don't believe that. I don't think he demanded.
No, but to say that he can't even suggest that you hire a lawyer, you suggested time, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
He's couching it in an interesting way, right? He never demanded Vic contact a lawyer, but he certainly talked Vic into talking to Ty.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is the thing that's really hard to understand, because Vic himself is nebulous, but we're learning as time goes by that it's interesting that people who run conventions that host Vic Mignogna are saying the same sort of things that Vic is saying. So for a long time, I thought it was like, okay, you know what? Vic doesn't really have, there is a lot of credible deniability in terms of what's going around this whole thing with Vic, like what his feelings are and how he feels about this whole thing. And it turns out that he thinks it's a fucking joke, like the whole thing. Like there have been so many death threats. I've gotten them. Other people have gotten them. There's been, trying to get me fired, trying to get other people fired, trying to do this, that, or the other. And, companies like Back Anime just straight up lying in very clear and obvious ways. And all of this stuff is fine with Vic. Vic is fine with it. He doesn't care that it's happening, because what he likes to do is just don't be unkind to people, but I'm going to look the other way in case you do something fucking crazy, because he's done nothing but look away the entire time. The reason is because this is what he wants. Like, this is what Vic actually wants.
Be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt?
I don't think he's never really earned money, so I don't think he really cares about money. What he wants is to be loved and for people to shut up when they're saying mean things about him. Like that's what he's actually after.
No.
If he was looking for glory, he wouldn't have gone into anime. Anime was probably the job he could get. Because back when he started, it was really easy to do so. Like, you knew a guy who knew a guy. You get a job doing voice work on an anime, and it's different now.
Yeah.
But like, this is all about his ego and his insanity. And the thing is, you know that he's lying to his fans with his latest statement too. You know he's lying to his fans.
Yeah.
Because if he were actually concerned about not being able to mount a defense, like, come sue me. Just come do it. I imagine I'm one of the 10 to 20 people that you're talking about in your most recent statement. We barely have any anti-slap protection at all here.
Yeah.
Come get me. It'll maybe cost you $10,000 to sue me. Not even that. If you get someone local, they'll probably do it for like $1,000.
Yeah.
And by all means, we should absolutely go to a jury trial. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Well, like whatchamacallit? Ty said that he would represent Vic for free forever from now on. So.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yeah.
Ty, Vic thinks it's okay for Ty to go on Nick's stream and talk shit about me. Okay, cool. Ty can represent Vic and sue me straight away. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the offer is still open if Vic wants to hire an actual litigator, but an actual litigator will tell him not to do it. But if he gets an actual litigator and he wants to come after me because he thinks I've defamed him or I've said bad things about him that have stopped him from getting work, or that I've reached out to conventions to say, hey, this motherfucker's going to be at your convention and you should reconsider it, by all means, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a fat guy. I can't run. Like,
that's hella funny.
That's not really up to me. But lots of people think that I somehow forced Vic to hire Ty and demanded that Vic sue these people. Again, not true.
Yeah.
All I have done is what I do with any case that I'm following.
That's not true.
And that is cover what happens, talk about different possibilities, talk about different strategies, and see where the show goes.
And raise a GoFundMe for $300,000 and then hand it to my family's real estate lawyer.
Rekieta is like practically the reason why it happened. The lawsuit happened in the first place.
I mean, he's the reason it funded.
He inserted himself in it. He filed paperwork in the case with the court. I mean, he had the GoFundMe. He's promoted it all over his YouTube channel.
He's talked legal strategy on streams with fucking Ty.
With Ty.
They'll never see this coming.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Because
he's just
look at
not
the
very
end
smart.
Of the day, Vic is still going to some conventions, and he just landed.
He's going to like one
gig at a new studio.
It's the same one that's ran by the same one convention that will have him.
Right. Yeah. The convention run by a creeper is the one he can go to. And he got a job from the creeper at a voiceover studio.
It's funny because like everyone's talking now. They're like, hey, Ty fucked over Vic. And now Vic has a case against Ty if he wants to go after him. And my thoughts are like, you need to understand that professional standards that are the basis of those laws when you sue your lawyer for negligence. All of those laws are written by other lawyers.
Yeah.
So
he's not going to get very far with that if he were to try it.
I think it would be a very, and especially if he went to other attorneys beforehand and said, I want to do this case, and they were like, get the fuck out of my office.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you were shopping for incompetence, and that's exactly what you bought.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's at Anime Matsuri, and they are producing anime. He's voice acting. He is doing what he wants to do. He's building his career back. So to me,
no. A career in voice acting is not a career you build.
Is probably the right move. But I'm not him. And I'm not.
He'd be better off learning to fix motorcycles. That's a trade.
He probably wouldn't listen to me anyway.
Too fucking late.
I mean, the problem is he did listen to you.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Nick, and I hope you and Lady had a great vacation. We did. Thank you for the welcome back. Ron Toye,
I hope you had a very nice clan meeting.
That, you grifter. We came victorious. Now I will celebrate this victory by getting pegged by Monica and Jack Murphy. We worked things out. Well, I'm glad you did. It's a beautiful relationship. Though it leaves whatever you had it on your car, I guess. Though it may be leaving your car, the one place West Nile will never leave is J. Sean Lemoyne's crippled, AIDS-riddled lung.
Wow.
May it rest in peace there forever.
Wow. Yeah, so, like, this shit is kind of, like, referenced by, like, the appellate judge, right? Like, the harassment that was done by, like, Vic's team alongside Nick Rekieta.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's a 70-page memorandum.
It's like, I'm not sure you really, I don't know. Nick doesn't seem to learn a lesson at all, or just learn in general.
I think my favorite thing that I've heard Nick say recently, because I spent most of my life in like polyamorous relationships. He's like, that's for cucks. And I'm like, I've been the only guy in all of those relationships. What? Like, I don't know what kind of fucking porn he's watching, but it's got to be some weird shit.
Well, I mean, his wife is, going to the massage parlor.
Yeah.
To get a breast massage.
The weird thing is, like, the weird thing for me anyway, is like how this guy can just straight up lie to people literally for years and manage to like make bank on it. Like, people are actually this dumb.
Well,
They're actually this dumb.
I mean, you've got all the grifters, right? You've got Yellow Flash hasn't mentioned a word on his Twitter. Tug hasn't mentioned a word on his Twitter. They are completely ignoring this verdict.
Did you notice that like Tug went back and erased the stuff about me because he claimed that I lied, and then he just deleted the tweet?
Oh, he goes back and deletes.
Deletes his. He has a bot that cleans his Twitter too, like on a regular basis.
So that way people can't.
So people can't go after him.
But he doesn't realize that like archives are like a thing.
Yeah, but they're
same with Rekieta. He went back and deleted just right before.
Before April. I couldn't find anything about February 2019 on his Twitter.
Yeah, but like April is there, so he specifically scrubbed all the Vic stuff, all the starting Vic stuff from his
And what's
Twitter.
funny is in that call to action video, he's like, "You archive them because people will delete tweets," and I just started laughing my ass off as I'm rewatching that video, because I was trying to. I didn't really follow this when it started. I had no interest in it, and so I wasn't looking at Nick's Twitter. I didn't give a fuck about Nick.
Well, you gotta remember, in the beginning, long before like Law Twitter got involved, I was getting literally like thousands of messages from people saying, hashtag fear the beard, and
that
like,
was the thing.
and all this stuff, and they're like, oh, go ahead, flip that defamation switch. And I'm like, okay, fucking sue me. Like, let's do it. Like, everything I've said is true. And I have witnesses. Like, by all means. And the thing is, like, not even Ty was willing to fight me.
Yeah.
Because he didn't object to my testimony in any way. He motion to strike other pieces of testimony, not mine.
Yeah, well, he's clearly not the most competent attorney,
which we're gonna get to.
But they could have brought me in at any time and say like, hey, we have some questions for you, and I'd be like, okay, let's do it on the record.
Yeah,
fine. What I don't understand, and like, how much of this is just like there's a certain, I guess, personality people have where they want to tune into someone like Nick just yell things for like hours at a time, because the shows are not short.
Yeah, they're not. It was fun. I'll admit it was fun. But then, like, you kind of, like, I don't know, because, like, I kind of realized that, like, I think the first one I realized was, like, a piece of shit was Tug. And then I was like, wait, Yellow Flash too? And I was cool with, like, I mean, I'd talked to Tug before, but I was, like, actually cool with whatchamacallit, Yellow Flash. But then, like, I'm like, oh, Yellow Flash, oh, shit. Yellow Flash is a piece of shit. And then it just kind of, I was like, yeah, Nick's probably also a piece of shit. Like, I'm just like...
Well, Tug and Yellow Flash had tried to, well, Tug especially, it was Tug's idea, had tried to claim that this GoFundMe was under attack in an attempt to get more people to donate to it. And that was all bullshit.
Yeah.
And the thing
is, nobody called him on it except for, like, Emish.
Yeah, but Nick knew.
Yeah, Nick knew, and he wasn't on Twitter at the time. His Twitter was suspended, but he knew it happened, and he didn't try to correct the record.
Yeah.
Actually, no, wait. He did say, he didn't call Tug out, but he did say, the GoFundMe is fine. I do remember he did say that, but he didn't.
Yeah, that's all he said.
Yeah, but that is all he said.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I think what this, and this is what I find, like, actually legitimately troubling. Not that people like Nick exist, but that people think so little of their time that they're willing to invest so much of it with this guy. Like, it's a long time. And it's not that they're just watching the shows, they're watching his show, any YouTuber that agrees with him, any YouTuber that agrees with them.
Yeah,
like,
and then they're sending him
you could be learning
gifts.
something in that time. And you could be learning something, you could be building a career right now.
Yeah, but then they also send him gifts of, like, really expensive whiskeys.
Oh my God.
Imagine thinking that you're so alpha and you're sending nice treats, nice $1,000 gifts to another man. But you're this big alpha Chad, this red-pilled alpha Chad that spends his money on other men by buying them nice gifts.
I guess here's the thing. Like, I do that, but that's like an industry thing. Like, everybody gets a gift. You go out to lunch.
Oh, well, that's an industry thing. Like, they're just, like, they're not getting, like, there's no business here.
We like the way you yell on the YouTubes. Here's an expensive whiskey. It's like, holy shit. Like, the other thing is too, and people, I guess, didn't learn this from the golden age of conservative talk radio. If you are Rush Limbaugh, for example, fuck that guy. But the guy went on, did 4 hours a day on, ostensibly about politics. He's not a political figure. He's an entertainer. And everything on the Rush Limbaugh show was about making fun of Democrats and Republicans that agreed with Democrats. Now, Rush Limbaugh could not have held the political beliefs that he espouses. It's impossible. All he's trying to do is fill 4 hours a day of nonsense. And that's the same thing Nick has been doing this entire time. He doesn't have a dog in this fight as much as he pretends to for money. Like, he doesn't give a shit about this case. He never did, and he couldn't have, because you can't talk this much about a thing and hold an opinion that does not change. It's impossible. Like, you cannot logically look at this and be like, oh, well, this person, like, yes, Nick is a grifter. Yes, Nick is lying. But yes, we know this because he's doing these shows for 1 million hours a night and, like, getting hammered. Like,
well, these people that watch them, I have my own theory about what causes this sort of fandom for YouTube, especially these people that stream for hours on end, right? Our brains aren't wired for that. Like evolutionarily not wired to sit there and listen to somebody talk for 4, 5, 6 hours a day. And what happens is you start believing this perisocial relationship that develops your friends, right?
But yeah, there's plenty of people that think that they're, like, actually friends with Nick.
Right? You're in the chat.
Well, look at all the people who think that they're friends with Vic, and he would never give them the fucking time of day.
You're super chatting him. He calls you by name and talks to you from the chat. So they imagine that they're friends and see it as hanging out with friends. And of course, you don't want to disagree with your friends. And
I disagree with my friends all the time.
Well, I do too, but
yeah, Vicky's a total fucking piece of shit.
But we have adult relationships. We're not talking to 12-year-olds who like anime.
Right. Yeah, but as a lot of his audience now is a different audience because of the Amber Heard, influx that he got. The Johnny Depp.
I don't imagine there are any toxic,
which is why he had to go through and explain at the beginning about what was going on. And it's the same with Tug. It's one of the reasons Tug's not talking about the Vic case on Twitter. The same with Yellow Flash. They've moved on to more financially rewarding pastures.
Yeah, greener pastures.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I will admit that I can easily be transfixed by YouTube. I am a huge fan of YouTube videos where guys find motorcycles basically in the trash from like the 50s and refurb them. Like, I can watch that stuff all day. I think it's great. But at least I'm exercising my brain, and no one's talking on those streams. It's just people like, oh, it's time for paint thinner, but like those videos I can watch, and they're very comforting to me, and I enjoy watching those. It's probably like whatever, ADHD nonsense I've got going on in my brain pan, but I could never imagine watching more than 20 minutes of someone like Nick Rekieta, but that's because I have a life and a career and stuff going on.
Dr. White says he says as he plays Fortnite.
I'm back to playing Blazing Lasers now. I'm in my studio.
Yeah, he's an adult now. He's matured.
Stuff is right here.
He's matured a lot during these last 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm 45 years old. Although the funny thing is, like before that, I was painting Warhammer. So
yeah.
Jamie Markey and Funimation Productions for defamation, conspiracy, tortious interference with existing contracts, tortious interference with prospective business relations, and as to Funimation, vicarious liability for Real Toei and Markey's actions based on their postings on Twitter. Appellees moved to dismiss Mignogna's claims under the TCPA, and the trial court granted their motions. At a subsequent hearing, the trial court ordered Mignogna to pay litigation expenses and attorney's fees and impose sanctions. The TCPA requires it. That's what this basically says. It requires the fee shifting that occurs.
Yes, it does.
In 8 points, Mignogna appeals, claiming that the trial court erred by finding that appellee's evidence was legally and factually sufficient to satisfy their TCPA first step burden based on their evidence's lack of admissibility, by dismissing his claims, by refusing to consider his second amended petition. This is the critical one, by the way, in my opinion. And by ordering him to pay sanctions and attorney's fees. And I really do. I would suggest that this is the death knell to the rest. Because, as we've discussed in the past, the original complaint had some issues. The first amended complaint didn't remedy them. The second amended complaint did. Or amended petition, I should say. It, in my opinion, did remedy many of the issues that are involved here. It more clearly laid out the timeline and directly linked them to direct statements from the defendants.
Why didn't it do that from the start?
Included 3 affidavits. Well, technically unsworn declarations. Those were never read by the court and not considered.
I wonder why.
Critical evidence about what had happened. Without
having
something
really sick?
What?
Like really sick and like really upsetting?
What?
So
if you're Vic Mignogna, you can enter unsworn declarations in court. It's fine.
Yeah.
They're weighted differently, but he could have just not notarized them at all rather than commit notary fraud.
Yeah, the problem is he committed notary fraud and then he took them back.
Right.
And then tried to put them in the Second Amendment pleading, and they were like, yeah, no Second Amendment pleading. So they were just not there.
Yeah, you can't. They didn't. They threw out his amended complaint.
Yeah,
right. And it's like, I mean, it wouldn't have made a difference anyway, but like you could have just put them in as unsworn declarations and at least they would have been considered, but you had to go commit fraud instead.
Right. Because what he literally did was he had, I guess they quote, did it over the phone, which is actually not the way you have something notarized.
But what was funny, I'm not sure if you remember, Emmett, but back during the time, Ty made it sound like, oh, this is common practice. This is how I always do it. And it was like, true, wait, so like all your affidavits are like in every case ever?
All of your cases. But that's the thing. You'd have to review all of his cases because he doesn't have one because he's not a litigator.
Yeah.
Right. So what they did was the one guy in Tyler, Texas, on the day that the TCPA response was due, notarized all three of these affidavits from three people who weren't anywhere near Tyler, Texas.
Right.
And you can't do that. And what's crazy about it, right, is he had all this time. They had gotten an extension to file his response. They had agreed to the date. So he could have sent them out a couple of days before, right? He could have, and let me tell you, I live in a town that's so small, we have 4 stoplights, but I know 3 people that will notarize something for me for free.
Right.
Right. It's not hard to find a notary. It's not hard to find a notary for $5-10. All you got to do is go to your local UPS store.
Yeah.
Right.
And in fact, that's exactly where I went to have my stuff notarized for the testimony. Yeah.
And they could have overnighted it. They could have just faxed it back. I mean, this stuff was being sent electronically, so they could have just faxed the records back. And everything would have been kosher.
But Ty was so incompetent, he couldn't do that, even though he had extra time to do so.
He was so quick and ready to go that he was not only late, he had to have everything.
Hey, this is only half time.
Yeah.
That was a quote from Ty after he majorly fumbled and the court was siding with.
Yeah.
This is only halftime, guys.
As Rekieta explains this, let me just give you the timeline really quick because well, let's finish it up and then we'll go through and explain
initially. 3 sworn affidavits, 3 notarized affidavits, Chris Slatosh, Vic Mignogna, and Chuck Huber. Those affidavits were notarized in error.
He doesn't go over the specifics.
There's no such thing as notarized in error.
Due to defects in the notary, defects in form. They were replaced.
He makes it sound like there was just a misspelling.
With unsworn declarations from the same 3 people that were effectively identical documents. Those were attached to the second amended petition. However, since the court did not consider the second amended petition, it did not consider the 3 unsworn declarations. And since the affidavits were withdrawn, those were not considered as well. This is a big problem with what happened.
It's a big problem for Ty because he fucked it up.
Yes. I mean, it's also a big problem, for reality.
Yeah.
To why the court did not consider the second amended petition. It's the one part of this that I really have trouble with.
The one part?
But it's the court's ruling.
Fucking way she goes.
So with that, accordingly, the trial court did not err by granting appellees TCPA motions, by imposing sanctions, or by awarding attorney's fees. We affirm this portion of the trial court's judgment. On cross appeal, they complained the trial court should have awarded them the full amount of attorney's fees they requested. Because we hold that the trial court's order on attorney's fees is against the great weight and preponderance of the evidence, we reverse this portion of the trial court's judgment. And
wait, I got to read this this comment from Thomas. It's crazy that I'm more pro Vic than the actual I stand with Vic people. I didn't want Vic to have bad legal representation, but all of his fans did.
Should have listened to SWC.
That's hella funny.
On that issue. I mean, so this will go back on the attorney's fees, and each side will get to, in some way, litigate on the facts of the attorney's fees and whether.
Yeah, but Vic's gonna have to pay more money.
Will of course ask for more fees. Vic's team will try and counter that, and we'll see how that goes down. The implication here is that they're likely to get more fees than they were originally awarded.
That's like almost
whether
guaranteed.
Or not that matters in the end.
I love
whether
this.
Or not those fees are getting paid is a completely different question. It's one thing to be awarded something. It's an entirely different thing to collect on a judgment.
He's like, he may have to be required by the court to pay, but he doesn't have to pay. So this isn't really a loss for Vic.
It's not a big deal for Vic because, he doesn't really have to actually pay it, according to Nick Rekieta.
Well, I think what he's saying actually does have some
it does
truth to it.
Like,
it is hard to collect, but it's slimy, is what he's saying.
Yeah,
right. And like the one thing I've noticed from Vic's fans on Twitter, they're like, "Yeah, well, he never paid them." It's like, wow.
Well, he hadn't paid them because everything was in appeals. You don't have, the appeal stopped the payment.
No, it doesn't.
In
fact, it accrues at 5% per year. Like, even without this most recent news, Vic owed more than the last day of his court case.
Oh, wow.
When it was dismissed, that's when the judgment is. And they get 5% on top of that for every year.
Well, damn. That's crazy.
Like, the one thing that's super weird is that, like, if I were Vic, I would not want to be in a position of saying, what is the deal with all of these conventions and why do you give a shit? Because you can go get a job like anybody else in the world at Olive Garden and pay these people that you owe money. Like, you don't get to be like, oh, they threw me out of conventions and that's where I made money. Because that's not your career. Like, your career now is paying wrong.
Well, now he has a job with Matsuri Studios, so they know exactly where to find his money.
Right, and it's just like, and how much are they actually paying him? I bet it's nothing.
Probably
I'm sure.
Anything.
Well, I mean, they haven't even started anything, so
right.
Yeah.
After meeting
it's fantasy soft all over again.
Oh, it is fantasy. It really is fantasy soft, bro.
I
was thinking about that too. I was just thinking about that.
So, like, Vic's going to be just fine. He's doing all this work for all these people, and they always turn out to be scammers and grifters.
It always turns out to be fantasy soft. What was really funny is that, like, Vic
all the way down.
Vic, like, was like, guys, I'm not sure you guys should be doing, like, I know that my name keeps being attached to Fantasy Soft, but I haven't talked to that guy in years. Meanwhile, his best friend, like, what was his name? Chuck
Huber?
Yeah, Chuck Huber is, like, getting fucking scammed by Fantasy Soft, like, in the works at that very moment.
Yeah.
That shit was funny.
But his fans will go online and they'll be like, oh, like, look, Vic's a big deal. Like, you're irrelevant. He's still got work. And it's like, first of all, you guys think that anime work is awesome because you've never had a fucking job.
Also, because you're scrubs, and fucking, like, dubbed is trash. So fuck you.
Pretty much. It's just like, why are you fighting so hard, like, to, like, oh, he's got his career back in the industry. It's like, that industry is fucked.
Yeah.
Like, he would make more buying a car wash.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Honestly, if you give me $200,000 right now, I could make you reasonably wealthy in a couple of years without having to do any work at all.
Yeah.
Any. And it's, I have no idea. Like, it's just this weird fan shit where they think like their thing's a big deal. And, like, I hear it all the time because people are like, oh, like, I get it the other way. Actually, you know what you hear this a lot from? And this is going to be a really weird take. But Mayim Bialik, who was Blossom, and she was on The Big Bang Theory as Amy Farrah Fowler. She has kind of a consistent problem where people on the street will call her Punky Brewster. And she tells people, like, no, I wasn't Punky Brewster. I was not on an afternoon show. I was on, a network show in prime time. And that's really a polite way of saying, are you kidding? I got paid like a motherfucker. I was prime time with a network. Like, no, I'm not Punky Brewster, the one making the shitty show for probably $30,000. I was fucking Blossom, like heading up Thursday nights on NBC or whatever. And it's like, these people think that anime is a big deal. And it's like, guys, no, it's Punky Brewster. Like, it's not actual stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because the same anime kids will turn to me and they'll be like, you're just a Star Trek guy. I'm like, that's $1 billion franchise, my kid. Like, but even at that, it's like, it's still not as big as other stuff, but like anime, like Dragon Ball might be $1 million franchise, but not here.
Yeah.
Like not in America.
I mean, it's
or
pretty big
it
in
might
America,
be one here, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not Friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's,
it's like comparing Star Trek to The Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory was on network for 12 years. It was the biggest comedy on television.
Mm-hmm.
Way more people have seen Big Bang Theory than have ever watched Star Trek. Ever. Like, it's not even comparable. But these guys think that anime voice work is like a big deal, and it's a shit fucking job, and nobody wants it.
Yeah, and nobody cares about it. Watch subbed. Learn to read, motherfuckers.
If it mattered at all,
yeah,
then people would want to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
That are not weebs. Like, people that have bills to pay would want to do it. They don't.
Yeah. I mean, it really is a shit profession, and it's for shit people that can't read.
I would just like, if people were saying like Vic it's okay, Vic's still working, I would just be like, okay, but where? Because like, I keep being told that he's an actor. Why isn't he acting in things?
He did that Star Trek fan series, Emmett.
Well, right, but that's not
I
work.
know.
Like, I don't understand it. I get that you're a fan of the guy, but there's an actual industry around what this guy does, and he's not a big player in it, and he hasn't been for like 20 years.
Nobody really is. But
right.
No.
yeah. It's like who's the biggest voice in anime? It's like, no one fucking cares. It's probably fucking Tara Strong, right? Like,
yeah. So Kaiser Crimson says, "What the fuck? I've been very loosely following Vic for years, and I've never heard of anything regarding Fantasy Soft. This whole thing is crazy." Yeah, dude, it was crazy. That's why I linked it for you, because I saw you asking.
You haven't heard of it, and neither has anyone else.
Yeah.
Because they don't make anything.
Yep, that shit was so funny, dude. Like, this guy's just a fucking scammer. And, like, the sad part was, though, is that he did trick people into, like, buying, like, gear and, like, donating their time doing art and shit. Like, he actually, like, did scam people, not for a lot of money, but, like, their time, and, like, they thought they were actually doing something, and that's sad.
Or they thought they were supporting Vic and buying his comic books or something.
Yeah.
And
but, like, I know, like, there was this girl, I believe her name's Nina. Actually, it was, yeah. She's on that stream that I linked in the chat. But, yeah, like, he got her to donate a bunch of her time and, like, art. Like, he had her do art, and, like, he kept promising her, like, oh, yeah, you're gonna get paid. And wouldn't even send her a t-shirt.
It's such a weird situation. Like, I remember one guy going off on me. He's like, Vic's done a bigger thing than you've ever worked on. I'm like, what? He's like, Prince Adventures. And I'm like,
what?
Prince Adventures did better than Voltron, and I've never heard of it?
Yeah, Prince Adventures. That was the main fucking Fantasy Soft fucking... That's funny.
Like, is Prince Adventures bigger than Voltron?
Prince Adventures doesn't even exist. Even on its face, it sounded really dumb.
Well, of course it did.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, it sounds cool if all you do is watch anime, but you don't have any interest at all in actual literature.
I'm pretty sure it was like some very furry shit.
Yeah, it was furry Bible shit. That's all. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was weird, like, but it was kind of fetishy. It's like, it gave off that weird furry fetish, but it was Bible stories.
Right.
It was weird.
Like, trust me, the Bible has got all kinds of, like,
he characterized as a generic.
Yeah.
The Bible has got all kinds of crazy shit in it. Like, it's it's full to bursting with crazy literature nonsense.
It used to have dragons.
Generic apology.
All right, guys, we're gonna watch.
Anyone.
We got to get through this.
This is one of those. Fucking hell.
Dear viewers, I'm just talking, so no one has to listen to Nick.
This is a thing that should not have occurred. This unintentional offending anyone, this apology bullshit. If you ever want to know why I say never apologize, this is why you do not fucking apologize. Was an allegation about two twins that Vic Mignogna allegedly propositioned for some sort of adult fun time.
Oh my God.
Wait. So I that's why I included it, was in case you ended up joining us. The twins, they wrote an affidavit against Vic, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. I thought maybe you would know. Maybe you remembered.
Here's the thing, and I've taken this position, and people hate when I do it, but I was not present at any of the situations that anyone else talked about in their affidavits or their pleadings.
No, I know you weren't, but I was saying I thought maybe you'd remember if they did, because it was something talked about.
It was definitely something talked about, but like I've said since day one, Monica could be lying, Ron could be lying, everybody could be lying, but I know what I saw. So like I don't know those people. I'm not friends with them. Like we don't get together. I've never met anybody else. So like I've taken a very hard line on saying, like, you know, I don't really care what other people's stories are.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't talking about like the specifics. It was just the reason why I was curious is because he uses this as an example of like he goes, "Oh yeah, like there were just these twins," and like Vic asked him, and they weren't even the ones that complained and that made Funimation do this investigation. But it's like, but I'm pretty sure that those two twins did write an affidavit against Vic. So like it's just the like slimy way he like represents this whole situation.
Well, I think Funimation would have been far more interested in anything that went on regarding employees than they would have been just some twins at a con.
Yeah, well, but he acts like the twins didn't complain about this at all, ever. And it's like, I'm pretty sure they wrote an affidavit specifically because of this.
Right, but here's the thing. There's not a... you don't really get a lot of insight into Funimation's HR process. I don't think we know who complained and when and where.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Vic already knew that he was in trouble. Like when he talked to somebody from HR, he's like, I think I'm getting suspended because of this nonsense. And it's like, he already knew that something was going to happen and he was shocked that he was fired. And it's like, you already knew that they were going to do something to you because of your nonsense. And no matter who told who what at Funimation, it doesn't actually matter because that stuff's private and confidential. Like, we will never know exactly who said who to what and when and where that caused the investigation beyond what's in the lawsuit already.
Yeah.
But it's like, we don't know. Like, maybe they didn't complain to him, but they complained to somebody else.
Yeah, obviously, because somebody knew about the story.
That's what they were trying to fish for with Discovery.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they went into this, and this is something you'll see quite often, is they went into this defamation claim
without any evidence, thinking that they would gain it from Discovery.
Thinking they could just make the claims, because all you have to do is make a credible, kind of a credible claim.
I mean, except for a TCPA, and if it's not
accept it, right?
If it's not a TCPA type thing, which this ended up being, the courts generally side with like the plaintiff as far as the filing goes, as far as it being
right. So they were hoping to get all this evidence of collusion, because he talks about it in the first video. That's where they would get all their evidence for the collusion, the tortious interference, the this, the that, and the other thing was through Discovery. And that's just can't be like all you hang your hat on.
Well, it can be, but like, if you're gonna go fishing, you better have fucking great bait.
Yeah.
And he had nothing.
They had
like,
an empty hook. Like,
yeah, it's like if all you have is somebody saying, "Hey, I heard from this guy that this guy did this," then at least you have something. You can go to that person and say, like, "Hey, who told you this?" Well, this guy told me that. Okay, cool. Drive on. And then, like, okay, like maybe that wasn't a deposition. Maybe you don't get an affidavit from that guy, but at least you then have something, because you can say, on this date, I talked to this person and he told me that this other person said this thing.
yeah.
And none of that was here.
And then they weren't able to get any of that out of any of the depositions either, which is kind of
and the other thing is too, like, because of Nick's nonsense, people are like, all of these people are colluding. I don't fucking know any of these people. I have literally met the only person I know that was in this case was my wife, the affiant, and Vic Mignogna. That's it. I don't know these people. I don't know Ron, Monica, Jamie, whatever. Like, I fucking hate Funimation. If you want me to support Funimation, go fucking union. Be union. Then I'll support Funimation all fucking day long. But fuck you guys. I hate you guys.
Yeah. Funimation kind of, I mean, they were trash, in my opinion. Not because of not just like this Vic stuff. It's just, I mean, they're kind of trash just in general.
Sure. I mean, I don't think I have a hard time with anybody, you know.
I like, my whole thing is, okay, so one thing I will say, because like I said, I was on the Vic side. I'm not sure like about any of like the stuff he's been accused of. I'm not gonna get into that, right? But what I will say is that I feel kind of bad for someone like Ron Toye. And I know that like there's a lot of people that would give me shit for saying that, but here's a guy who, like, because I talked to Ron, I had him on a stream.
Sure.
Super fucking nice.
Yeah.
And like, here's a guy who, there was stuff that came out. I guess there was like an abusive moment, and there was the court that happened, and that stuff is talked about, right?
Sure.
And it's like, this is a guy who's a good example of somebody who did make the proper changes and doesn't exhibit that type of behavior anymore. And here comes like Nick and all of I Stand with Vic, and they like just bombard the guy with his past. Like, and these are people that are supposed to be anti-cancel culture, and all they do is continuously bring up the fact that he had a time where he was abusive, despite him making the changes.
Well, that's what they do. I mean,
they're like these anti-cancel culture like warriors, and they're really not.
Well, I mean, it's not really a position that you can hold and live among people, right?
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, you've got to be like, yes, I think if someone is shitty, then they should find consequences for being shitty.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody believes that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm cancel culture. Well, what the fuck are you actually against? Like, because it's not a black and white issue. It's a nuanced issue.
Well, like, yeah, like, I mean, I will say what I'm against. I'm against using somebody's past that they've made changes from and have, like, you know, become a better person, but then using their past to continuously try to fuck with them and like I'm against that, right? And that's exactly what they did to fucking Ron Toye. Like, let's be real.
I think that Ron made a bunch of mistakes with this lawsuit.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
In terms of like just talking to people he probably shouldn't have been talking to.
Yeah. No, I agree.
On the other hand, the motherfucker has been an open book about everything. Like, you can yell insults at Ron all day long, but he's like, yeah, that's a thing that happened. I admit it. It was really bad for me, and I worked really hard to make a change.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to hold that against him forever, I mean, by all means. But, you know, eventually that's going to turn on you.
Yeah. Well,
eventually you're going to say something that pisses somebody off, and then they're going to hate you, and they're going to go on the internet, and they're going to freak the fuck out. over something you did many, many years in your past.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just talking about like the stuff with like his ex-wife, because it's like, I mean, she has gone to bat for him and the changes he's made. So like, it's not even like you can like, I don't know. It just seemed really fucked up. Like Ron was a really nice person when I talked to him. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the other thing, and there's stuff that I haven't talked about in this case, and I still won't name names. But Vic has continuously played the "I'm going to seek counseling" card, and it's his apology the first time was not even close to the first time he said that. I know people. I can't. There's only so much I can say without violating a contract, let alone a friendship. But
this isn't the first time he did it. Then
no, not at all. And there was a guy who like Vic just literally just grabbed the guy's girlfriend, and the guy was much more important than Vic was. But then Vic thought that he was this guy's friend, and he just calls this guy over and over and over again, saying like, "Hey man, we got to get together and do this stuff. We got to get together and do that stuff. Hey, what are you doing at this con? What are you doing at that con?" And that guy was like, "First of all, I don't pick up when you call, and I need you to know why. Like, you did this stuff to my wife. Like, that's not cool. I don't want anything to do with you, and I never, ever want you to call me ever again." And Vic's like, "I'm really, really sorry. I must not have been myself that day. I've spent a lot of time, in sex addiction, trying to make things better." And this guy, to his credit, and probably to everybody else's detriment, believed Vic and thought that was actually something that was going to happen. And we see that in this situation. We see this in the situation with Vic's ex-fiancée, Michelle Specht. Like, this is what Vic does. He does it all the time. He apologizes just enough to keep going. And, hey, if Vic doesn't like it, he can come to Arizona and sue me about it. But, this is a pattern from Vic. And the funny thing is, like, 95% of the creepy shit that Vic has gotten up to was never even mentioned in this lawsuit. Not even close. Like, for a long time, I thought that Vic was a good guy that was being yanked around by Nick and Ty and the cancel culture nonsense brigade. Like, I thought that he was a good guy that made mistakes but was getting jerked around. And as time has gone by, it's like, oh no, he is legitimately a bad person, because he's fine with it when other people lie for his benefit. He's fine with it if other people get death threats. He's fine going to conventions and calling people who don't like him unemployed. Motherfucker, I make way more than Vic Mignogna does. Like, and I have for fucking years. Like, dude,
I mean, he does anime man. Voice acting. Like, he's got to be making like what, $25 an hour?
If that, like, they'll get paid hundreds of dollars for like a season, right?
Yeah, well, like, it's a lot of it's the convention money. That's like the.
Well, that's the thing, right? And like, because
you're
they're
not guaranteed in that. Like,
like these actors have to go to conventions for money because they don't get paid enough to pay the bills from voice acting. Like, that's why the conventions are so hurtful for Vic, because that's where he makes money. But, like, dude, you are an able-bodied, very small, but able-bodied man. Go get a fucking job.
Yeah.
You don't have to work in voice work. If you're an actor, go be in a movie. Go be in a TV show. Nobody wants to work with you. That's the problem. But
well, he's all deformed looking now. He can't do anything live. He's got all that Botox.
All right, we're pressing play.
I try not to talk about the appearance of other people, but like,
I find it part of his pathology. Actually, not so much that it makes him look funky, but that he actually has done it. That's all.
And done a lot of it.
Like, spent 5 straight conventions going to visit Vic, and in the intervening time had emailed Vic pictures of themselves dressed in either cosplay or other clothing that said things like, "We love you, we can't wait to see you," etc., etc. When they came to visit him at a convention, he invited them to his room. They came to his room. When he said, "Hey, were you looking to do anything?" They said no. And he said, "Okay, well then that's cool. You can leave then." And that was the end of it. In his sixth point, Mignogna argues that the trial court erred by not considering his Second Amendment petition and its attachments in deciding whether he had met his burden to defeat Appellee's TCPA motions. Again, personally, this would have been my first point of appeal and would have had the most time devoted to it, because I think it's the most important. I think the court agrees that it's the most important point, which is why they raise it first. Funimation filed its TCPA motion on July 1st, 2019. Real Toei Marquee filed theirs on July 19th. The motions were originally set for hearing on August 8th, but the parties agreed to move the hearing to September 6th to allow Mignogna more time to respond. On August 6th, the parties signed a Rule 11 agreement wherein they agreed that Mignogna would file his response to the TCPA motion by August 30th. See Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 11. So Rule 11 simply states that within a lawsuit, parties can basically contract, following the rules of contract. They can agree to just about anything. They can make an agreement between parties, and that agreement becomes enforceable by the judge. So in this case, they said, we want more time to file. We'll file by August 30th, the response to the TCPA motion, and that'll be the end of it. And everybody agreed to that. That's the Rule 11 agreement. According to the subsequently filed plaintiff's motion for leave to file late response to defendant's TCPA motions to dismiss due to technical issues, Mignogna's counsel unsuccessfully attempted to file Mignogna's TCPA response just after midnight on Saturday, August 31st. He successfully served Marchie's counsel, however, who asked him to provide a certified copy of all notary book pages for the notarizations performed by him on August 30th, the date that the affidavits of Mignogna, Chuck Huber, and Christopher Slatosh, which were attached to Mignogna's TCPA response, were signed according to Mignogna's counsel's notary stamp. At 9:04 a.m. on September 2nd, Real and Toei's counsel asked Mignogna's for an explanation of how Mignogna, Huber, and Slatosh could have signed their affidavits in his presence when none of them were in Tyler with him on August 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big freaking deal.
And what an idiot.
Okay, so after Ty basically goes to them and says, "Hey, can I get an extension? Let's have a Rule 11." Ty even wrote the contract for the Rule 11, right, agreement. He wrote it. He knew exactly what was in it. He still did what apparently all these lawyers do, is he tried waiting until the very last minute on Friday, August the 30th to file his response. Okay. I don't know why they do this, but if it's going to still be counted for that day, so long as you get it in before midnight, because it's all filed electronically now, right? As long as you get it in before midnight, it counts for that day. Instead, he fucked around and filed it after midnight. So technically on the 31st. So it's late, right?
Yep.
Now, it could be he had a problem logging in. Maybe there was some sort of issue with the connection. I don't know, but it was still filed late.
Hold on 1 second. My wife is saying something. What was that?
Sure.
She says she knows why they filed at the last minute for the appeal. What's up? Hold on. Put the headphones on. By the way, this is my wife, Nisha, everybody. Here she is. I'm taking the headphones off and handing them to her.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm Exhibit H.
Nice to meet you, Exhibit H.
The reason why attorneys file at the last minute before a deadline is to fuck the other side.
Yeah, of course. I'm in a lawsuit myself.
Once something is filed, it starts a clock.
Yeah.
And they only have so many days to do it. And whenever you do that on a holiday weekend, like they did, it's like big dick energy.
Yeah.
And I was a paralegal for nearly a decade, and you don't do that unless you know you can do it. We actually, in my firms, did drills to file the last minute to make sure we knew we could. And at the courthouse too. So yeah, that's why they do that.
Yeah, no, yeah, they do it last minute. I totally know, like, because whenever like the lawyers in the case that is against me, whenever they file, they always do it like right before midnight. So
yeah, so
it's annoying.
Yeah, well, I mean, they want to strip you of at least a few hours, and this was supposed to be filed on a Friday night, right? And
yo, what's up?
And it was Labor
You guys heard
Day.
everything she said, right?
Yeah,
yes, we did.
Okay, good.
She has a lovely voice.
Yeah, she's nice.
And
oh my God, my family is very much from the north, so like everyone in my family thinks she sounds like Ellie Mae from like the Hillbillies.
Yeah, this was a holiday weekend, right? So nothing would be actually show up in the computer system until the Tuesday. When it was supposed to be filed on the Friday.
Yep. Major fuck.
If he could get away with claiming that he had some sort of technical issue and it wasn't in until right after midnight on the 31st, they wouldn't see it for a whole nother 4 days.
Right.
Yep.
And that was
the TCPA response at midnight on September 3rd, the day after Labor Day, along with a motion for leave to file a late response due to technical issues. In addition to the 3 affidavits described above, Mignogna's counsel attached to the TCPA motion the depositions of Mignogna, Real, and Toye, along with 342 tweets that were attached as exhibits to Toye's deposition, the unsworn declaration of EM, a convention representative who wrote the declaration in response to statements about her by the CEO of Kauai-Con Convention, whose affidavit was attached to Real and Toye's TCPA motion, and an affidavit by Stan Dolan regarding his recollection, none, of an incident involving Mignogna that Real had described as having occurred at the November 2007 AzumiCon, a total of 8 exhibits. All right. So there was a technical issue. We talked about this when it happened. There was a technical issue in which the response was delayed by like an hour or something like that.
The technical issue was incompetence.
By an hour.
Yeah. So here's what it said, as pointed out by Real and Toye's appellate counsel, although Mignogna's counsel informed the trial court that his TCPA response was late because of technical issues, the response itself was rife with missing citations, incomplete arguments, and other errors.
Yeah.
And that was not a great document, by the way. Not a great document at all. He simultaneously filed a second amended petition containing 20 new paragraphs of factual allegations. To the second amended petition, he attached 17 exhibits, which he described as prima facie evidence sufficient to prove each element of each claim, and referenced the exhibits in 18 of the petition's paragraphs. 9 of the 17 exhibits contained evidence that was not attached to the TCPA response. The remaining 8 exhibits consisted of 3 unsworn declarations, Mignogna, Huber, and Slatosh, with the same contents as their affidavits, the 3 depositions, EM's unsworn declaration, and Dolan's affidavits. So that was the attempt to file the second amended petition.
Which he only
45 minutes after filing a TCPA response and second amended petition.
Sorry, what were you saying, Vicky?
Oh, no, go ahead. You can go ahead and play it. We'll get there.
Nope.
Would know that they are not alone, and to show solidarity with and empathy for those victims. Markey further declared that she had told the truth and had since been harassed, threatened, and lambasted.
Sorry, I accidentally.
Technical issue. We talked about this when it happened. 20 new paragraphs of factual allegations. To the second amended petition, he attached 17 exhibits, which he described as prima facie evidence sufficient to prove each element of each claim, and referenced the exhibits in 18 of the petition's paragraphs. 9 of the 17 exhibits contained evidence that was not attached to the TCPA response. The remaining 8 exhibits consisted of 3 unsworn declarations, Mignogna, Huber, and Slatosh, with the same contents as their affidavits, the 3 depositions, EM's unsworn declaration, and Dolan's affidavits. So that was the attempt to file the second amended petition.
Yeah. Which he only filed
45 minutes.
Yeah. No, go on.
He only filed that the second petition. I have a feeling he planned on always filing it. And he was gonna back to back these and hope that he'd get away with it.
Well, I mean, that is I mean, he brings it up later. Yeah.
Or he was going to file it first and just was late with it, because there is a deadline. You have to file an amended complaint. Any kind of pleadings are supposed to be filed 7 days before trial or a hearing. on the motion.
Yeah.
So, despite Nick's claims that this was just so mean and cruel that they didn't accept his amended complaint, it was in violation of, I believe, Rule 63 of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. And
that's the surprise one, right?
That was the second amended complaint.
Yeah, so it is surprise. Like it is trying to go back on an agreement, and by surprising them with a motion after you've already made an agreement.
Right. They already had an agreement
and he's like, but this wasn't included in the contract, and it's like, that's still a surprise. You're being slimy.
Yeah, and it's considered a surprise because it's days before the hearing. Right.
Here's the other thing, and people always forget about this. Do you remember when Nick tried to file an amicus brief into the lawsuit?
No, we didn't forget that.
I did not forget about that.
Yeah. Like, he's like, I've got something to say. And the judge was like, fuck you.
Yeah. He's like, I haven't filed anything in this case. Like, sure you didn't, motherfucker.
You tried.
You tried.
You certainly tried.
It's like you certainly tried to get an amicus brief in there, and it didn't happen because you're a fucking clown.
I know I promised I wouldn't leave you two alone, but I'm going to have to. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Yeah, you're good.
TCPA response and second amended petition. Mignogna's counsel replied.
So you want to make love now, Emmett?
Dean, it's our time.
It is our time.
No day like today.
All right, I'm just going to play this.
September 2nd affidavit inquiry stating that he would withdraw the 3 affidavits and that they had been mistakenly submitted with defects in form.
Mistakenly submitted.
The affidavits around half an hour later. At the TCPA hearing on September 6th, his counsel stated that he had filed the second amended petition after opposing counsel notified him of the defective affidavits.
Womp womp.
I don't remember this, but I'll take their word for it. Appellees objected to Mignogna's late filing of his TCPA response, the filing of a second amended petition, the attempted late submission of evidence, citing surprise in their mutually agreed August 30 deadline. Now, importantly, the August 30th deadline was literally for the TCPA response, according to the Rule 11 agreement. And this is where my big disagreement comes in with the Court of Appeals here. The Rule 11 agreement does not cover any submissions of evidence or of the second amended petition. It's literally the TCPA response itself. And what the court will do here is say that these things are this, even though this is a different thing than those things. Was Ty slacking, or is this normal mistakes? I would not call these normal mistakes. I don't know that Ty was.
I would also not call them normal mistakes.
I'm not here to defend Ty Beard or speak on behalf of his firm. If he wants to do that, that's up to him.
Oh, God, the non-lawyer is going to defend a one-lawyer firm? Great.
The trial court granted Mignogna's motion to late file the TCPA response and deemed it timely filed, but stated that because Mignogna had withdrawn the 3 affidavits, it did not consider them or any evidence attached to the second amended petition.
Why would they?
Well, this is
There's
the death
no reason
knell
for them to do so without giving the other lawyers like a bouncy castle.
Yeah, well, it's like,
right?
Why would they unfairly rule for like Vic's side? Like you'd be asking the judges to basically be partial.
Well, to be impartial in your direction.
I'm sorry, impartial,
right?
Yeah.
But like the other attorneys would be like, you let this guy slip on this rule. So you have to give us a bouncy castle and champagne, and probably at the very least, you got to lick my balls.
Yeah.
Right? Like no judge is going to be like, oh, we'll let this guy who is clearly unprepared from the very beginning and has been a dickhole the entire time. We're going to let him slide on this rule that's supposed to apply to everybody. For what benefit?
The rule that he drafted.
It's like, why? Why would you do this?
You can't let somebody just break a contract that they themselves drafted like they.
But Your Honor, my client is kind of fucked if you uphold my fucking
if you uphold the rules we all agreed to, my client will be in a very, very bad position.
Yeah.
Like the sickest part is that, like, if they had extended them, that olive branch, and if the other lawyers didn't say buy me a bouncy castle, it still wouldn't have helped Mignogna at all.
Yeah. He
Like,
didn't have a case.
nothing helps them.
Yeah.
Like, he does not have any evidence that anyone defamed him.
And he doesn't even have
any
competent
evidence
counsel.
that people were lying about him on purpose, which you have to do because it's general purpose public figure. He didn't have any evidence that he had any damages at all related to anything said by any of the defendants, no matter if it was late, if it was on time, if it came 4 weeks before it was due.
Yeah.
Like, none of that stuff works for Vic Mignogna at all.
The one thing that they had was they had what was it? Kamea-Khan, but then Kamea-Khan re-invited him back anyway. So there was nothing there.
There was literally no contract with which to declare interference.
Yeah. Like, oh, he lost his job at Funimation. You mean the at-will employment?
Right.
Like, Andrew Verba in the chat says Vic played epic tier. Fuck around, find out. And Ty did. Hi, Lorenzo. By the way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who Lorenzo is, but I like that his last name is Sleestack because my friend created the Land of the Lost.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, well, he is a Sleestack. That's his thing. He's green.
He's not a Sleestack. He's Altrusion.
Yeah.
Altrusion?
Yeah.
It didn't consider the 3 affidavits or any evidence attached to the second amended petition. And without that evidence, you weren't going to present evidence that you had been defamed. Like that just wasn't going to happen. Mignogna's remaining TCPA evidence consisted of the depositions, which in my opinion actually should have been sufficient, EM's declaration, and Dahlin's affidavit. The record reflects that Mignogna essentially... See, this I don't agree with personally. I don't think the record actually reflects
Well, I mean,
this.
but that is what he tried to do. There was no other reason for the amended pleading other than as a late TCPA response. Like,
basically,
there's like literally, it's the only purpose that it serves.
Look, I also don't agree with the appellate court, and I think that my wife should let me go have sex with Selena Gomez, but it's not happening. Like,
you're right. She should.
She should.
Yeah, that's just mean. But she's a nice lady. She was very nice.
I don't even think she would care as long as she got to watch, but I don't know. Actually, honestly, I think Selena Gomez is probably too young for me.
I think she is too. I
like her scene in I'm a huge fan of The Big Short. So like I think I like her because she was in a movie about economics.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never seen that. She did a music video where it was kind of like Secret Window in that she played every person in the music video. I was high on shrooms when I saw that and I was like, wait, is everybody Selena Gomez?
Guys, one day I'll tell you the story about being high and you're not going to believe it, but it's a good one.
For sure.
But again, the court can disagree with me. That's fine. They get to win. Essentially tried to use an amended pleading as a late TCPA response to remedy his lack of evidence and thereby avoid the party's Rule 11 agreement deadline. I don't think this is true. And then
it is true.
Let's see, Mr. Armageddon says this is a complete loss, at least legally. Do you still think Vic made the right choice? Is Vic better off now? Yes. I still think Vic is better off than when he started all of this. Yes.
Just wait till the end.
When he started all of this,
hope that
he had no job.
Better off.
Emmett, wait till the end of this video because we'll revisit that again.
Place than he is now. Outcome bias is a real thing. Let's hope the benefits outweigh the costs. I stand with Vic. You'll never know, right? Like, who knows what would have happened if he had not filed the lawsuit? I think it was the right. Big issues here. The bad notaries on the affidavits. Huge issue. Big problem. Really should not have occurred. That's not the way it worked out. And is that on Ty? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe it is.
Of course it's
Who's
on.
it supposed to
I don't know
be?
who else it would
The
be.
Illuma fucking
I have
Notary?
no idea why anything happened the way it did. What I do know is that the way it happened is a big part of why this didn't work out. I think the public figure doctrine is garbage, but I think Vic being a public figure is not the hardest case to make.
Everything that he had to come up, that Vic
I don't
had
think
to
he
come
should
up
be a
against,
public figure.
from public figure
But he seems to be
the
one.
TCPA. Nick
Kai
doesn't
says, so
agree
Vic
with.
was accused of what exactly? That's
This is
a
great.
really, really tough question
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
to answer.
Wait.
People stereo, no, it's
Wait.
not.
It's a really tough question to answer.
No,
No, it's not.
Like,
If
what
you can
exactly
read,
is he accused
Nick,
of? I don't really know.
Okay, here's the best part. We started this off with he went around asking his buddies and people like Doug Tenaple and Yellow Flash and Hero Hay about the validity of the accusations, and he found that they weren't very credible. But now he doesn't even know what the fucking accusations were.
People
Right.
are looking at a black screen now, Dean.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
My friend JC
The
is in
statement-
the chat saying Selena Gomez is definitely too young for me.
I think so too.
I think so too.
She's
Emmett.
30. She's only 4 years younger than my wife, but 30
It's
is
still
it's
too
too
young
young
for
for me.
you.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since the tweets were that he assaulted at least 4 up to hundreds of women.
Yep.
That he assaulted them. That's the tweets by like Ron Toye and Monica Rial.
Okay. I don't.
Whatever that
If you-
assault means.
If you could have proven them
It's
wrong,
never
you might have
really
had a
fleshed
case.
It's never really fleshed out. Monica Rial's whole deposition
Yeah.
is
Fleshed
like
it
about
out.
the assault,
She
that
goes
like
on for
the
hours
alleged
about this
assault.
shit.
The alleged assault. Like, I'm not going to say it for sure happened. But, like, how are you going to say they're not really fleshed out? I watched it on your channel, bro. Like, what do you mean?
We watched Vic on Nick's channel admit to pulling Marshy's hair.
Like, what's he talking
Just
about?
the way she said when she was, allegedly assaulted.
Yeah, it's like,
So
what do you mean? It's never really been fleshed out. I watched it fleshed out in a deposition that aired for the first
your
time to
channel.
the public on your channel, Nick. Like, what?
Why are you like this?
he grew his channel on
Whether
that
a statement
shit,
is
but it's
defamatory
it
per se
doesn't-
is generally illegal.
It's
question.
fucking wild.
Statements of opinion about a public figure on matters of public concern are not actionable as defamation because they cannot be proved false. Calling someone a sexual predator falls within the broader principle that a speaker's individual judgment that rests solely in the eye of the beholder is mere opinion. So there you go,
Correct.
folks. In Texas, calling someone explicitly a sexual predator is not defamatory.
In
Good
fact,
to
it's not
know.
defamatory anywhere in the country. But whatever. I'm licking my wounds from Fortnite, and I'm playing Super Mario 3 now.
Not defamatory. If it's a public figure and a matter of public concern, which if it's a public figure, you're talking about their sexual predation, that's a matter of public concern.
Correct. Glad you finally learned this,
All
Nick.
right. Noting another court's explanation that unlike convicted felon, which has an objective verifiable meaning, sex predator is a sort of loose, figurative, or hyperbolic language that is immunized from defamation claims.
Correct, because it's
There
an
you
opinion
go.
statement, not a fact statement.
I mean, to
which
me,
is what everybody
that
has been
sounds
saying.
like serious sexual misconduct,
Yep. I mean,
but I don't know.
The funny
I'm
thing
not
is,
an appeals court judge.
Vic doesn't know, like Vic's fans don't know that they were all trolled by Greg Doucette because he kept referring to Vic as a sexual predator and a pedophile. And what they didn't understand is like, because those are opinion statements. Neither of those things are defamatory. But like they kept biting on the fucking bait.
yeah, well, tell that to, the people suing me.
He's suing us. Yeah.
That's funny.
Can you
Nope.
guys even talk about that?
Probably shouldn't.
Okay, then
Probably
let's not.
Yeah. Or let's talk about it right now. I'm joking. Let's watch this.
Evidence of actual malice as to Marky, Rial, or Funimation Mignogna argues that Markey defamed him through her statement that he had assaulted her by grabbing her hair, yanking her head back, and whispering something sexual in her ear. And this is where we will find significant fault right on the shoulders of Vic Mignogna himself.
Correct.
This part's
The answer
great.
should have just been no.
But that would be a
That
lie.
should have been no.
That would be perjury.
Did you pull her hair?
You know
No.
all about perjury, Emmett.
Instead, the
Yeah, I
answer
know.
was explained. Well, I didn't really pull it. I more like touched it, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't hurtful, et cetera, et cetera. Nope. The answer is no. And this is why answers in depositions, answers on the stand are so fucking critically important.
Make sure you lie because it's important.
In his first
I'm not
amended
asking you
petition,
to
he alleged
lie,
that on February
guys.
8th, 2019, Mark.
I'm just telling you to withhold the truth.
And that's the thing. You're absolutely allowed to withhold the truth. You are allowed to answer exactly what was asked. Like, and we know that Ty did a terrible, terrible job of prepping Vic Mignogna because Lemoyne said, "Did you ever tell anyone that you had hired a prostitute?" And Mignogna said, "I've definitely hired a prostitute."
Yeah.
He answered more than
I
was
remember
asked.
that.
He was not prepared for class. Like, is the proper, I don't remember the exact wording of the question, but it would be like, did you pull her hair? And it's like, I wouldn't characterize it as pulling. That's probably what he should have said. But that's not what he said because he was not prepared by his counsel.
Did you keep that part of that clip where Ty talks about that, Dean?
I might have clipped it out.
Okay, so what Ty later shows up on the stream, and he
way
says,
to ruin it.
Sorry, and he
spoilers.
Spoilers. He says that he just doesn't really like to tell his clients that they're not doing well during their deposition.
He likes to be a cool lawyer.
He wants to be cool. He doesn't want to upset them and get them all nervous when they go back into the room. And I'm like, dude, your job is to tell them when to shut the fuck up.
He's like, no, I don't like to tell them that. I like to be the cool lawyer. Like, hey, man, maybe switch it up. But, no pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
Well, honestly,
like, no, dude, be like, holy shit, what are you doing?
Oh, look, I have lawyers, and I can tell you, they do not care about my feelings in any fucking way. They're not paid to care about my feelings. They're paid to, represent me, right? Like, they're not here. They're not here to make me feel good. They're here to represent my interests.
Yeah. Like, you feeling good in the moment may not be in your best interest. Tell them if they're fucking up, Ty. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like if I'm fucking this up, fucking tell me, or like grab my dick or something. Like, just let me know. Just stop talking until we can confer.
No, it's fucking wild.
I don't understand. Like, I don't want a lawyer that thinks I'm awesome. I want a lawyer who's good at what they do.
Yeah.
What they think about me is absolutely irrelevant.
Yeah, for real.
And
as
also,
long as they get your best interests,
Right. And if my lawyers want to be the cool lawyer and not help me when I'm fucking things up, that's not cool. Like, that's the opposite of cool.
Yeah.
Assaulted her several years prior by grabbing her hair and whispering in her ear what he whispered she couldn't remember. That in the last week or so, I've heard accounts of him doing this exact things to a dozen other women that I personally know, and that Mignogna is a predator.
Yes, I have watched Vic Mignogna do the exact same thing to someone else.
This is that bolstering bullshit that happened in the same way that it happened with Johnny Depp. Like, oh, there's more stories about this. Sources, trust me, bro. Margie's entire tweet stated this. Here's the tweet. I'm not going to read it all.
The source doesn't trust me, bro. Look at my fucking affidavit where I say the exact same fucking thing.
In her unsworn declaration, Margie stated that she decided to publicly state the truth about what Mignogna did to her end quote, in early 2019 after other women began coming out with the truth about their various experiences. Right. So this is the pile on thing. She'd had no issues with this. She's friends with Vic for years
I'm sure
and years
she
and
probably
years. And
had
suddenly
issues.
this thing that happened years ago is a problem that no one knew was a problem. Whatever actually happened, that's the other question. With him, and that she did it so that other women who were victims of Mignogna or other aggressors would know that they are not alone, and to show solidarity with and empathy for those victims. Markey further declared that she had told the truth and had since been harassed, threatened, and lambasted by Mignogna's supporters and his legal team, even though she had not made these statements out of malice or any desire to hurt him, despite her own hurt and anger. Markey stated, my intent in my outcry was always to provide an opportunity for healing and encouragement for bravery for both myself and other victims. In his deposition, Mignogna admitted to the incident involving Markey's hair, but stated that it was not painful, was not hurtful, it was not sexual, and it happened at least 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer.
Yeah, and that means it's not up to you what other people feel.
Yeah.
Done. Killed his claim.
You want to know why there's not like credible people saying that like I grabbed them? Like, do you want to know why that's
because
like I've
you didn't grab them?
Because you didn't grab them?
Yeah, I keep my hands to myself. Like there's a reason why I keep getting work in the entertainment industry. It's because I'm good at what I do. I come in on time, under budget, and like that's the entire ball game. I never have to worry about people making shit up about me. Ever. Like even when the Vic stands went crazy, they're like, oh, you were creepy on Discord. I'm like, oh my God, guys. If you think what I said was creepy on Discord, you should hang out with me and my friends for like 30 minutes.
You should see how I am with your mother.
Right. And it's just like, guys, like I'm not like a, you know, I think they feel as though the opposite of this is like this whole like beta soy thing.
Yes.
Where they're just like the opposite of like Vic's behavior is that like you're like a sexless android that respects women or something. And it's like, guys, no, I've had crazy sex.
And I don't respect women at all. So
no, he doesn't. Honestly, he doesn't. Trust me on this one. Trust.
But it's just like there are so many people. They're like the problem is like I've been around for so long that there are too many people that would be like, you know, it's not that I like believe Emmett, but they would just be like, I would like to see some evidence for that claim because that is not the person I know. Yeah. And like, where the fuck were those people for Vic?
Distant wants you to stop cheating on his mom.
I'm never going to stop cheating on that dirty whore. So anyways.
I mean, is it cheating if we double team her? Like,
oh, she gets more than double teamed.
Okay.
They call Distance Mom the conductor.
But like, I don't like the idea that on one hand, here's like, they're like, oh, you do the stuff that he was accused of. I'm like, no, dude, because you'd know about it. Like, there'd be people talking about it like they are for Vic.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not actually the world I live in. I you know, I get up to some crazy shit. And all of it is completely legal and like on the level. Like, I don't kink shame other people. You know, I don't ask them to kink shame me. Like, I don't like this notion that like, well, if you don't like this motherfucker grabbing people without their consent, then it must be because you're absolutely no fun at all.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that is fucking weird. It's like, no, like it's just, you know, probably like, because there was this, I forget, there was this argument I had with somebody where it was about like, maybe you should just like, you know, keep your hands to yourself. And it's like, oh, women don't like that. You're just like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I have no problem getting any. And like, trust me, like, I know when a woman wants like me too, but like, I don't just assume that I can just do it to any woman ever.
Anybody.
Right. And the worst part is like, people are like, why do you care what conventions he goes to? It's like, well, because I'm not really comfortable with the idea of Vic Mignogna having a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
Right? Like, The other thing is too, like if people were like, "Oh my God, there's skeletons in his closet about me," it's like anything I've ever done, I'm happy to talk about.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Want to talk
Emmett
about
is
when
very
I was
fucking
super
open.
into? Yeah, like do you guys want to get into when I was super, super into ecstasy? Oh my God, that was my favorite.
Dude, I used to do MDMA all the time. Yeah, it's so good.
That's the thing. Like people are talking about, like, hey man, you can just go to Seattle and just go buy weed. Like that's the drug of my mom's generation. Bring back ecstasy and shitty techno. I am there for it.
Yeah,
1,000%.
So good.
So good.
I miss it too. Anyway, let's
killed it.
Well, you remember, I wouldn't even know where to get
watching
the stuff now.
The deposition,
yeah, same. I wish.
I say, please just say no, and then he didn't.
Does he
stop?
Does
trying
Nick
to explain stuff?
Like, is Nick?
The answer is just
yeah. Sorry.
Did he think that like
it could hear him?
Right. Like, does he think it's like Romper Room where the woman looks in the mirror and says names as though they can actually see those children from the TV studio?
Yes.
That always kind of creeped me out as a kid.
No.
He does think
he
that.
doesn't actually admit to the incident. What he tries to say
He's pulling
is
your
that
hair.
she's
Yes.
completely
He says yes.
mischaracterizing the interaction.
Well, then he should have said that instead of yes.
But the way it
Well,
comes
the thing
out
isn't she going to have a much different idea and have much different feelings about
Vic
the interaction
points that
than
out
him?
himself.
Like,
Vic points that out himself.
Yeah, like I don't get to punch you in the face and then determine how hard it was.
Well, Vic goes, well, it's possible that I don't speak for her, so I don't know if she viewed it differently, but I suppose it's possible that she did, essentially, is what Vic says. So
yes, thank you to admitting to what they had claimed that you'd done.
Yeah.
Painful or hurtful or not sexual. It gets worse too. He denied ever having whispered anything sexual in her ear or having any sexual interest in her, which that makes sense. She's hideous. Mignogna testified that Markey had defamed him by publicly mischaracterizing a very casual, brief interaction in public at the lobby at Funimation, and that to his recollection, it was a very casual, playful interaction as happens all the time in the hallways at Funimation. However, he agreed that Markey could have perceived the incident differently, which he also should not have done.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
Is Nick saying that, like, I don't have to keep my hands to myself and I can grab women by the hair as long as they're uggos?
Yeah, well, Nick essentially said that Amaranth doesn't get to have feelings on sexual assault because of the way she dresses. So, like...
I think I've exchanged, like, one message with her, like, totally in my life. I don't know who she is.
She's a Twitch streamer. She makes ridiculous money.
Okay.
She makes millions of dollars a month.
On like OnlyFans, yeah.
As a Twitch streamer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As a Twitch streamer and OnlyFans.
Yeah. She'll have like 15,000 people sitting there waiting for her to show up for a video.
And it's not terrible content. I watched it with Hargrave a couple times. It's not terrible.
She showered. Last time I saw it, she was showering for like 4 hours.
She definitely puts in the work to get that.
She does put in the work.
That's one thing you can't say is she does
like a traditionally hot person or something.
Yes,
like,
she is hot.
Otherwise, I don't know why people sit around.
Yes,
she is. She's beautiful. Yeah.
Is she hotter than my wife though?
I've never seen your wife.
Seen your wife.
Oh wow, you should. No, like my favorite thing is like Kiwi Farms are like. I love because people think that she's a mail order bride because like my wife, like if you look at me and my wife, the first thing you think is, oh, he's got money.
It just so happens
is no, the
I'm just
joking. Not even the thing. The thing is, my wife is like 32 years old. But everybody thinks that she's 20 because she's like always covered in glitter and rhinestones and like crazy. But like she gets carded every time we've ever gone out. Like she just looks very, very young.
Yeah.
But Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, congrats.
By the way, I'm about to beat World 1 on Super Mario 3.
Nice.
Could she have taken it differently? No, that's ridiculous. And she didn't. How do you know? Because she didn't act in any way contrary to a playful interaction. She didn't take it differently. She's lying. She's a liar. She's a fucking liar.
I like how Nick's advice makes Vic, like, had Vic done that, would have just made Vic look like a fucking lunatic.
Right. Like, he's like...
She's fucking lying, that fucking whore. She's fucking like, Jesus, dude.
Vic, do this. You'll totally come off like the balanced champion we know you are.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she's at work. Like, how are you supposed to?
Yeah.
Is she supposed to like freak out and flip out, or is she supposed to still try to act professional and just?
Or should she act as though she would like to continue having a job?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre.
That's not in normal conversation with normal people, in a deposition or in being examined or cross-examined on a witness stand. They're looking for the gotcha. You're in the most hostile environment ever. There is no explanation. There is simply no. Did you grab and pull her hair? No. That's crazy.
So lie.
You didn't grab her hair and pull her head back and whisper something sexual in her ear? No. My God, that's horrible.
Look, Nick,
because
when you're deciding what people are asked and you're deciding what they answer, of course everyone agrees with you.
Yeah. It's fucking bizarre.
Like, the answer is that he did not do what they said. Now, what he wanted to do was tell them what did happen. No. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia. Shut your mouth. Don't tell them what did happen. They have to get the story out of you. That's their job. Your job is to say no. Said, if I did, it was literally something about, ooh, I love your hair, or love it, it's awesome. Do you remember
that's
saying
even
something
creepier?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually worse.
That's actually worse and grosser.
Yeah. Like, no, no. No is the answer. No. He also agreed that Marky was not the only woman whose hair he had pulled.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Like, I love this thing where he just gets to make up questions and the answers. Like,
he also gets to make up that he's a lawyer.
Right, I guess.
So
pulled. Also not quite accurate to what he said, but it doesn't matter. And when asked if he had any evidence that Marky did not believe the statements to be true when she wrote them, he replied, I can't answer for her. I don't know what's in her mind. I can't say whether she believes it's true or whether she was joining in to pile on. I don't know. The answer
then
to
why'd
that
you
question
sue
is,
her?
The problem is that you should
she knows it
probably
was
not
false.
be suing that person.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. That's the dumbest. Like, Jesus.
Because it didn't happen.
And that's why, like, her suit was the first to go.
Of course it was.
Like, man, you're the worst.
I didn't pull her hair. I didn't whisper in her ear. Therefore, when she says I did, she knows she's lying. There's no way to interpret things I didn't do as to something I did. Alleged that Toye made the following statements or took the following actions. Mignogna is a predator. He knew of at least 4 assaults by Mignogna. Glad to see conventions canceled. That kind of looks like defamation.
When somebody who wears Vic's pants says, I love your hair, it's definitely creepier.
That is probably true. With his face, too. That can't move.
Defamatory per se. Toye tweeted that he knew Mignogna was guilty of at least 4 accounts. Defamatory per se, because that's accounts of assault. But all of these tweets that they have here, they don't have the context of them. Mignogna also alleged that Toye had tweeted more than 80 times that Mignogna had sexually assaulted or assaulted Rial, more than 10 times that he had sexually assaulted or assaulted 3 of Toye's very close friends, more than 10 times that he had been accused of hundreds and possibly thousands of assaults, and at least 17 times that Mignogna is a predator. Mignogna's pleadings and evidence had to establish the facts of when, where, and what was said. They did. I mean, they include all of those tweets. The defamatory nature of the statements, pretty obvious. And how they damaged him. However, Mignogna merely attached 342 purported
like,
tweets.
that's the thing. Like, that's, like, I hate to say it, Nick, but you're just coping. Because the judges, 2 judges have disagreed with you.
God, you know the worst thing about Nick is, like, usually when someone is, like, you know,
Wrong?
like quarterbacking, like Monday morning quarterbacking,
they're good.
Like, at least it's from people that have seen a football game. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I know what the Eagles should do this year. They should blah, blah, blah. And while my opinion is fucking useless, at least I watched the football game.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker doesn't know jack about jack.
He certainly does not.
He certainly, like, at the very least, he works overtime to show people that he has no idea what he's talking about.
Their surrounding context. The tweets to which Toya was responding, which is required to determine if a statement is defamatory per se, according to Bill Bray. Further, the tweets referring to Mignogna as a sexual predator or variations whereof are non-actionable opinion. Correct. John T in the chat, the all wise, says, "Why was the first petition so bad from your family lawyer?" My family lawyer is, again, he's a lawyer who has done work for my family. Yes, that is true. Why was the first petition so bad? I don't know.
You don't? Then maybe you shouldn't be commenting on this at all.
And the second one done so late by your family lawyer as to not be admissible. First of all, I think it should be admissible. I think the law is on the side of admissibility here. And I think absent the Rule 11 agreement, it would be admissible. And I think with the Rule 11 agreement, it should still be admissible. But that being said, I don't know. Ask him.
Can you pause him for a second?
Wait, no. It ruins the effect.
Or don't. Or you can shove your own dick in your ass like you do every Tuesday. Right? You fucking piece of shit. Is that what you want me to do? You want me to respond to you? Are you so desperate for a response?
Seething.
I don't know how to tell you this. I'm not the lawyer on the case. Wasn't the lawyer on the case. If you want answers about it, go ask him. If you can manage to get some other guy's cock out of your mouth for 10 seconds to do it, try it.
Look, okay, now pause.
Okay, so he disagrees with this, that, the other thing. Should I be going to Nick with my Selena Gomez issue?
Yes.
Okay. Dear Nick, since what you believe is different from, I guess I'd have to ask him what he's pretending to be this week. Like, are you a journalist this week or are you a lawyer?
No. John Delarose is a journalist this week. Rekieta's a fireman now.
Is it?
Yeah.
John Delarose, doesn't that just mean like John of the Rice?
Mm-hmm.
John of the Spanish rice, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because I live in what used to be Mexico, but still.
Yeah.
We'll tell you all about him one day.
I don't know. I'd love to know these answers, by the way. I would have preferred that everything just happened. Beard, given so much leeway, you have no problem criticizing Vic's deposition. I did criticize Ty Beard. I said the biggest mistake in the case is the non-inclusion of the affidavits in the second amended petition. Cross-examination. But
well, here's the thing.
I guess you can always
like if the petitions were so good and this case was so good from like day one, like
why was it not a slam dunk?
Right. Like if you know what the fuck you're talking about, like everything that Nick's talking about that he's saying should have gone differently
has never gone differently.
Well, it's not that it's never gone differently, but like the changes he wants wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it's like somebody says, you know what? Fuck this. The way Star Wars should have gone is, and it's like, okay, you can believe that. Unless you're going to make a movie, no one fucking cares.
Yeah.
You can always blame the attorney and say that he wasn't adequately prepared or the right questions weren't asked. I don't know what to tell you.
I know
not
what to tell
going
you.
Soft on Ty here. Not going soft on Vic either.
I'm not going soft on Ty.
I'm just not going to mention the details behind the notary issue. I'm not going to, like, what do you mean? Like,
I'm not going to fess up and actually tell you guys that he was trying to fuck with a deadline. And that's what screwed him. I mean, I'm not going to, I'm not going to let you guys know.
I'm not going to say that.
I'm not going to tell you that he maybe fraudulently notarized, like, yeah. Like,
or maybe, maybe Ty Beard should have coached his client better and, during break said, hey, you really should, answer just yes and no. Anyway.
Agree on the Rule 11 thing.
Attempt answering yes or no questions with a yes or a no. Give it a shot
an incorrect
when you go in there next.
Court, but my opinion on it doesn't.
But he wanted to be a cool lawyer instead.
He wanted to be cool.
At the end of the day, of course, judgments are judgments. And what Vic ultimately pays will be up to what they're able to extract from him under Texas law. You can't take a house. You can't take a primary vehicle. And you can't take a certain amount of property. You have to go after extra property, various cash that someone may have. Typically, you would go after wages. You would garner
as the
wages,
judge said, don't put your house in a
9-to-5 job. They get a paycheck. They say they make this much money. There's the wage. Then there's an additional amount of discretionary money that is allowed to the person. And then people are free to go after the extra amount. But Vic is a small business owner. His small business is him. His convention appearances. He is paid individually as an independent contractor.
He's not really paid at all right now.
How his payment comes in, I don't know. I don't know. Like when
he's saying like 4 wrong things in a row. Vic cannot be both a small business owner and an independent contractor.
Yeah.
Like, is Vic incorporated as a business? No, then he's not a business owner. He's some guy.
Yes. He's some guy who's not actually getting paid right now.
I am a small business owner. Do you want to know how you can find out? You can look up the name of my company, and it will tell you that I own the place. Yeah. Like, I can look it up online, and people can go look up my fucking corporation if they give a shit. I don't list myself as an independent. What? Nick doesn't know jack shit about anything. Fucking fuck.
Yeah. JC Cohen 14850 says, if you don't know what to tell us, why are you talking?
I don't know.
We learned in the Johnny Depp case is that
big money
Johnny
to do
Depp himself does not get paid for his roles. In fact, he has a management company, and the company lends Johnny Depp's time in exchange. They basically rent out Johnny Depp's time in exchange for money. And so that money would go into a corporation. That corporation would pay out Johnny Depp various things that he needs throughout the year, stuff like that.
Excellent.
I don't know how Vic's income is structured. I don't know how his assets are structured. All
Why
of
are you talking about it? You
questions.
Fuck.
I don't know that we'll ever get the answers to those questions, but I will say this. In Texas, it is very hard to extract money from a debtor. It becomes much harder when that debtor is self-employed.
You should tell JC that I'm about to get killed.
If I were Vic's attorney and Vic were
JC,
willing to fight,
Emmett's about to be killed in a game.
I wouldn't give them a red fucking cent.
Oh, because you like prison?
Every single year, I would send them a note that says, I owe you, and then just says, fuck you, you fucking bitch, to every single one of them. Like, that's what I would send them as the payment for the invoice or whatever every single year.
Masterful
and they
law.
could try and enforce it, but try and prove I made what you think I made is a lot different. That's a lot tougher. With that, though, that's the gist of the decision. Again, very bad decision for Vic. Very, very bad decision for Ty. And I don't speak for Ty Beard. I know people want me to. And
this
they say,
is great.
Like, I'm not criticizing or whatever. What I would suggest is that probably Ty Beard would take basically the responsibility for all of this.
Yeah, imagine that's what look.
And I don't even know if that's a fair thing for him to do.
But you want him
there
to
were
tell his client to write IOUs to the people he owes hundreds of thousands of dollars. But
he was the lead attorney on it. He's the owner of the firm, and I think that what he typically does in situations like this would be to take responsibility. But I don't speak for Ty. And if you want to know what he would do, you'd have to ask him. Maybe I'll have him on sometime soon. I don't know.
This is great. Just listen.
That would be up to him. If he wants to sit here and have people shit on him the whole time, maybe he does. I don't know.
A few moments later.
Welcome, Mr. Ty Beard. Well, I'd ask how do, but I think I know the answer.
Yeah, well, I didn't get much sleep tonight, so I was watching your show. Thought it was a very fair analysis, and yeah, it's my fault.
He was doing something awesome.
I was the leader of the team. I made all the strategic decisions.
I was going to spend the night curing cancer, but I decided to watch your show instead.
Basic principle of leadership: the leader takes the blame. That's the way it has to be for leadership to work. What often happens when you do that is the court will say, you're right, but you still lose.
Yeah, I mean that's that's the hard part about a motion to reconsider.
Yeah,
I mentioned that in response to the Rule 11 here, the Rule 11 ruling, which I personally think is I don't see how. You're a contracts guy.
Yeah, I drafted the Rule 11. Do you think if there's any coincidence that the petition is not in that?
So he
he fucking admits it. He admits that he purposely admitted.
I was not particularly nice to those folks. There were certain things that you do, as you do because you think it's a better strategic play to make. I felt like this judge was not a big fan of, what I call lawyer bullshit.
I love that.
You're right. He wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah, he thought you were a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But he just admitted that he purposely omitted and knew he was going to be filing a second amended complaint and purposely omitted it from the Rule 11 contract and their negotiation. Like
he was trying to be slimy.
He was trying to be slimy, and the judge caught him at it and smacked him upside the head.
Any what I like to call lawyer bullshit, or what everybody else on the planet would call lawyer bullshit, and that's why it didn't work out well for me. It's so easy to do Ty's voice. It's like a half a Dr. Phil with whiskey instead.
We've actually heard that Northern District. That in that Northern District of Texas, they really don't like any lawyer bullshit.
Yeah, it turns out
we've been told that already.
If your client is a creepy doofus who likes to kiss on young women, they're not big fans of that in Texas.
No.
Ty could have done much better for his client if he had watched a single episode of The Big Bang Theory.
But he didn't.
Well, I remember, God, like the nonsense from Vic's fans since day one is always going to be like, oh, they're not going to like this shit in conservative Texas. And it's like, those pants in conservative Texas? You think they're going to side with those pants in conservative Texas?
Biting off more than I can chew. No.
Yes.
We had all the firepower we needed.
Well, I certainly did.
Look, in trials, mistakes will be made by both sides. I mean, that and they work on both sides. That's
like the guy who told a creepy voice actor that he could win this case.
Usually,
right.
We just now, I got to admit, the idea that 270 or 300 defamatory tweets somehow need context is just
you have to explain them. Like, you can't just throw the tweets out there and be like defamation.
I can't imagine you wouldn't just take my word on this.
Yeah, you can't just take a reply tweet and be like, "Oh, yeah, well, let's not show what they're replying to."
Or let's you have to explain it. All he did was throw 340 tweets at him and say defamation.
What do you think about these tweets right here? What do you think of those? It's like, I think they're tweets. Can you tell me what you're trying to accomplish here? No, that's secret.
But I don't know.
That would ruin the strategy.
If I told you what was actually wrong with these tweets, then you'd think I was dumber than you think I currently am, and I can't have that.
I almost fell out of my chair when I read that. So we're going to obviously attack that in our motion.
Yeah, because some of them have an obvious facial defamatory meaning.
Yeah,
like when it says
no, they don't.
Vic
It's just because you don't understand them, you fucking clowns.
For example, like doesn't seem to require contextual.
What does he think is
I'm not
defamatory?
sure what context would grant to that. Personally,
what the fuck is he saying is defamatory? That's obvious.
Defamation requires context. By the way, if you actually look at how it's presented in the law, you have to give context. The appeals court even said defamation requires context. Like, you can't just ignore it just because you want to.
Yeah, it's not like one of these things. It's not. Maybe Ty Beard and Nick Rekieta think that the law is actually like Mean Girls. It's like, oh my God, did you hear what they said about Katie? Oh my God. Oh my God. That's not actually the law.
He's about to have a BF. I don't know what that means. He's about to have a bitch fit. Anyways.
Per se defamatory statement, according to the court's own definition that it cites in the opinion.
We overplayed it. I mean, a little bit. You get bloodlust when you're drawing up these things. That particular mistake isn't really material because
you have to play something before you can overplay.
We should have played 14 instead.
You didn't even show up to the right field, bro.
What are you gonna do? I always try to learn. I find that I've learned far more from my failures than I ever learned from my success.
Well, you don't have a lot to compare it to.
And Ty's learning experience is going to cost Vic seven figures.
As far as what happens to Vic, well,
probably at least 6.
I'll fight for the guy to the end of time at this point.
Wait.
Charge him a dime.
Wait.
So, no one wants you to fight for him for any longer. Why is you fighting a good thing for anyone?
Wait. You gotta hear this.
It'll get made right one way or another.
Wait.
That's a personal promise that
he made this. I mean, he promised Vic's mom.
He made a personal promise to Vic's mom
that he wouldn't lose the case. So obviously Ty's promises mean jack and shit.
Well, considering that Vic's mom's probably the one paying for all this, like,
yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
It's just fucking.
But the
Jesus.
It's the notary issue, Ty. Yeah, no shit. Didn't I just? I think Nick said that 3 times. I said it twice. Appreciate you saying it a 6th time, moron.
Oh yeah, the guy who said that you were late is definitely the moron.
Because of the failure. Well, I am bitter because of the failure.
I remember if I was late for class in high school, and if I didn't have a pass, it was actually the fault of the hall monitor.
Yes,
yep,
it was.
And you people gloating about this, let me clue you in on some things. Number one, Vic Mignogna is a far better person than either of the defendants. Okay. He is and always will be. Far more people like him than will ever like any of them.
What does that matter?
Counsel can gloat all they want, but they want a technical.
Really liked Hitler.
Never reached the merits. I never got to a jury. We never got to make our case.
No, so you kind of you did, and you failed to make your case.
Well, I mean, it's like I don't know how Vic is going to pay his bills with being well liked.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't see Ty just letting those bills slide.
Like, here's the question: is that the part of the IOU that Nick wants? Like I owe you 5 days of being a good person, and not the over $250,000 that this judge did, because I'm a better person and people like me more than you. So this is my IOU.
Yep.
Can't say, yay, we won on technical merit. See, he's guilty. That's bullshit. So glove it all
he wouldn't be guilty because that would be criminal, not civil court.
pathetic
How
you
do I
are
have to explain this to a lawyer?
Yep.
Sitting here, you know, yeah, you lost. Yeah, no shit. I've been doing this 27 years. It happens.
Oh my God, he's only been doing this 27 years.
But so, you know, the idea that you somehow, you know, orchestrated all this, I mean, it just didn't go down that way. Nick made the introduction, then got off the phone call. And I spoke with Vic for 2 hours. But no, you didn't orchestrate anything. And no, I'm not. Well, I guess, you know, in a sense, I am your family attorney to the extent that I represent a number of your family members on a variety of matters. But you know, so,
that's generally what people mean.
I can't wait till I get sued. Like that will be the funny day for me.
Yeah.
If they sue me for a negligent referral, I'm going to have a blast. That'll be
negligent referral. That's it. Well, again, I go back to the advice I gave that Duck Dynasty lawyer so many years ago. Don't bleep with this guy. Just don't. You know. If you remember, I was going out to a client's location. Just the weird things that happened. The immigration folks had shown up at a manufacturing company's plant. And of course, they did exactly what they were supposed to and called me before they let them in. So I was heading out to deal with that. And so I took the call and then dealt with that and then called Vic back. So no.
It was very weird. It was like he was trying to over-explain how
he ended up talking to Vic in the first place.
Yeah, because first he's like, oh, Nick just made the call, and then I talked to Vic for 2 hours. And then he's like, wait, yeah, no, if you remember, I was going to that place, and you called, and then I had hung up, and then I called Vic, and Vic hired me.
Or something.
Yeah, it was like very fucking weird. So like,
yeah, it was like this. It was like to try. It felt like he was trying to create a buffer between Nick and him, and the whole Vic referral. Yeah.
The only thing Nick really has going for him is that being an extraordinarily crusty asshole is not actually a crime.
Yeah. Yep.
Very true.
What I just find funny though is that because I mean, straight up, like, there's no doubt about it. Nick lied to everybody when he made the GoFundMe. Like,
by the way, propaganda. I desperately want Vic to sue me. I'm asking him to do so because of his most recent statement. Which is a lie, but yeah.
But like, I mean, straight up, like he did lie. He didn't tell people that he had already helped Vic find a lawyer. That part was totally left out. Like, and like, you know, that's kind of fucked. He didn't tell people that it was somebody that he already knew that was closely like embroiled in his family's business
that was his lawyer.
Yeah.
He didn't tell people that Ty was his lawyer, which seems to me, if you're doing full disclosure, as Nick called it at the very beginning when he set it up, was you would tell people,
you would fully disclose the
you would say
surrounding
this
events.
is my lawyer. Yeah. But it looked bad. It would have looked bad for Nick. It would have looked bad for Ty.
It looks way worse.
When you don't, I know.
When you don't.
Yeah.
But
so
this case is the biggest.
He says something along the lines of like, well, wouldn't you just refer them to somebody you know? And I'm thinking, well, wouldn't you just ask that somebody you know for a fucking referral?
Or like, I guess what I don't understand is like, even as a person who like, I know a bunch of lawyers and stuff, but if someone comes to me and says like, okay, and comes to me with Vic's argument for what these people did and what they said, I'd be like, I'd love to refer you to someone, but that's not actually a case.
Yeah.
Like, you can sue anyone you want, but that's not a case. Like, you're going to lose. You're going to lose everything. And you're already old. You're a 60-year-old man. You're going to lose everything you could possibly imagine. And you're going to be paying these defendants until you die. And then they're going to come for your estate. Like, this is
but Ty can also represent him on those estate things.
Yeah, he can represent his estate.
And probably somewhat competently.
I guess, but like even if it were like my best friend, I'd be like, I cannot recommend an attorney to you because I don't think that that's a case anywhere.
Yeah. Well, Nick, at the very beginning of this, he like straight up admitted. I mean, like in my like opinion, he admits that he did not have Vic's best interest at heart when he tried to invite Vic on, knowing that it wouldn't be a good thing for him. But it'd be a good thing for his channel.
Right.
Yeah, this was all about growing Nick's channel, in my opinion, as well.
Like you can't tell me he has his best interest at heart. He admits that the first thing he tried to do was totally not good for Vic, and he knew it.
Right.
So fuck him, dude.
L of Nick's life, which I'll take it. Absolutely. That's great. If this is the biggest L of my entire life, I'm in a good spot.
Okay, but what about Vic?
Dude, it's not even close.
But like, what about Vic? Like, he's like, yeah, I'll take it. Whatever. Meanwhile, your best buddy that you take pictures with.
Friend, Nick, your good friend Vic, whom you can't share pictures of you playing golf together because of people like you, Dean.
Because of people like you.
Well, here's the thing, like Rekieta's making a bunch of money for his live streams and shit now, right?
Yeah.
Like he has a bigger audience than he did when he started.
Oh yeah.
So why isn't he just paying Vic's bills?
Yeah.
Good question.
Right?
Yeah.
No, for real. Like, why? I don't know. There's no real good answer there, guys.
Like, I mean, I'm not going to pay Vic's bills, but if I'd made so much money lying, I'd be like, man, you made so much money grifting off of this lawsuit for this lawyer that you recommended to me. Like, you can hook me up.
Yeah. You would think so, but nope.
And this disappointed. You know, it's brutal. But I mean, this job is a serious job.
Is it?
It's not.
Apparently, you didn't think it was.
You're dealing with people's lives. You're dealing with people's, everything. I mean, it's not a game. Now, I tend to see it kind of as a game because I'm a gamer as a hobbyist.
I'm just glad that in Texas I can call anybody a sexual predator. And that's not defamatory.
Well, as long as
it's not defamatory anywhere, Nick.
It's got to be
not defamatory anywhere in the country.
You're not going to.
Yeah.
Want to do that face.
It's not defamatory in Minnesota either.
It's got to be a public figure in a matter of public concern. You can be made a public figure very quickly if the public concern is sexual harassment allegations. So like domestic abuse. So like I can say that Ron Toye III publicly acknowledged in court documents as a wife beater, that he's a wife beater. And I think that personally, in my opinion, based on all sorts of shit I've seen about Ron Toye III, is that not only is he a wife beater, but he's probably a sexual predator as well. Like I'm relatively confident saying that because he tries to manipulate women by giving them gifts.
It's not a game. And I sometimes look at it like a game.
I
may have lost about $500,000 for Vic Mignogna, but I will tell you, dollars to donuts down here in Texas, Judge John Chupp cannot defeat my army of Space Marines in Warhammer 40K. 40K, by the way, is only a small percentage of the amount of money that my client has to pay these people. I will go up one side of his Necrons and down the other with my Space Marines. My primary Space Marines, I don't think he's ready for this. But it's not a game.
It's not a game, but I view it as one.
It's not a game, but I hit on 2s and 3s. Anything other than a 2, I hit on.
Dated someone.
His Necrons have to regenerate if they want their army back.
Which seems very, very suspect. Giving laptops to women he barely knows. And also, he sent me a bunch of sexual DMs. They seem sexual to me, so I think he's a sexual predator.
Never thought I'd say this in public, but you.
Look, I'm just saying. I'm just here. I'm just a person on YouTube or whatever, and then I find out that this Ron Toye guy is like watching my YouTube videos and start sending me creepy sexually charged messages.
I don't think Judge John Chubb can handle it when I played Chun-Li.
Well,
very much a sexual predator.
He keeps saying it's cheese when I kick him with those kicks. He should have learned how to block if he can't handle
Chun-Li's take any skill at all to enjoy.
Doesn't take any skill at all to beat
I've always felt like how you
John Chubb and Chun-Li.
How you deal with adversity speaks much more about your strength and your character than how you deal with a win. By the way, it's kind of academic now, but I remember you and I talking about it. I had no intention of gloating it whatsoever if we had won.
Sure.
No intention of doing what?
Gloating. He wasn't going to gloat if they won.
I figured you would.
No, I would.
I wasn't going to gloat
hoping
if they won.
Tonight's
look, it ain't quite over yet.
I promise you that I might be a terrible and unbelievable fuck up in every definition of the word. But if for some reason the stars aligned and Judge John Chubb was a big fan of lawyer bullshit, I wouldn't be gloating about it because I believe in sportsmanship. Because even though the entire planet was about to be eaten by a supernova, I wouldn't gloat even though I had everything to do with it.
Fucking great.
Hopes up, but we haven't thrown every single punch we can throw, and so
If anybody wants to watch YouTube streams of me being gamer type beard,
if there are angles, we're certainly going to take a crack at it. Like I said, and there was a dissent in this case. I haven't gotten to the dissent yet, so bear in mind it's too best.
I haven't seen.
I haven't actually read what the judge has said, but I figured I'd go on the internet and talk about it first.
So
that's a real gamer move.
Motion might not be quite as much of a forlorn hope, because all you got to do is flip one of the judges theoretically instead of two.
Here, this super chat's relevant. It says, "Hey Nick, do you think you would have done better than Ty if you were Vic's counsel? Be honest, flex if you need to. Lol." Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. I think you would have done better than me, Nick. So.
I would have done a much better job.
Of course you
I would have made zero mistakes. I would have typed everything perfectly the first time.
No typos, no
fraudulent.
The judge would have
notary.
actually offered to give me sexual favors.
Yeah, he would have just simply said to you, "What do you want me to do, counsel?"
And I would have said,
said, "We win."
The depths of my imagination are so deep.
So it is ordered, and that'd have been the end of it. Yeah, listen,
Nick Rekieta has got the depth of imagination to sit in front of a camera and lie for hours.
I tried. Remember, I offered you a job.
Yeah,
but you're like, I don't want to move to Texas.
These people go back to the well every couple months because they get lonely, because it will never ever be interesting. So this is their thing. So what? Like, they couldn't do anything. They didn't make Vic's life worse than it already was. The people who destroyed Vic already did it.
I mean, Rekieta and Ty helped Vic do it.
Yeah. Look, you guys have to understand, the only thing that my client didn't do was keep his hands to himself over 20 years and thousands of people.
He got away from it for 19 years. Why couldn't he get away from it?
The only thing he did wrong was just grab women indiscriminately without their consent. Now, that's when you need people like myself and Nick to step up, because we're gamers.
You see, he should have been grabbing discriminately. Like Nick says, no fatties.
If he had hired us, we would have made sure that he was wearing gloves at all times. And when he was having sex with underage people, we would have made sure that they had a juice box afterwards.
Jesus Christ.
They did not destroy him, and that was their goal.
They didn't destroy him.
We did.
We did.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
Did. Because we're gamers.
We didn't get the victory I would have liked, but they did.
You didn't get a victory at all, motherfucker.
We did keep him from doing that. Now, Vic deserves most of the credit for that. But
I came to this courtroom in front of Judge Shupp with a 1,000-point army I got from Kiwi Farms.
So my use of destroyed, I think, triggered you. But There are people who damaged Vic. We're talking about the defendants in the case and a couple other people that are mentioned by the court.
Like
you're talking about the law Twitter dipshits.
Yes, there's this group of orbiters
the
around
dipshits that were right the whole time.
They can't and haven't harmed Vic. They're just these weirdos who talk about it.
Maybe they're not trying to harm Vic. Maybe they're just right.
They just don't give a shit about him. Like, I don't give a shit about Vic Mignogna. Like, they think that this takes up much more headspace than it actually does.
It's funny because I follow you on Twitter, and I know because sometimes it's horrifying.
Yeah.
You know, and the only time you ever bring it up is when somebody out of nowhere in replies somewhere else,
right,
brings up.
It's like, yes, I will drag you in front of my friends and make you look like an idiot. Of course.
Right.
This is a service I'm happy to provide.
And until today, I think was the first time that you'd actually just, flat out tweeted about it unprompted.
Yeah, because I saw that video.
Yeah.
And like that again, that was in response to what he was saying. Because my thoughts are like, okay, well, Vic, if you're honest, name those 10 to 20 people. Am I one of them? If not, why not? Like,
and if I'm not, why can't I be one? No, I'm just kidding.
When they do, someone talks back.
So
jealous. You're jealous, Emmett.
He's better than them in virtually.
I'm jealous of it.
He's better than you.
Oh, that's fine. He could be better than me. Like,
no, it's all cope.
He could be better than me. Like
it's all cope. Yeah, he's better at you than at apparently sexual harassment.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I can tell you with an open heart and with absolute and complete honesty, I don't think that I could have made Star Trek Continues. Like, it's incredibly, incredibly good. Just as if that was his only credit as a producer, it's a real good one. Yeah. It's very, very good. But like, I don't play at Vic Mignogna's level. He's like a non-union. Well, he's not anything. He's unemployed. He's an unemployed former voice actor that's going to owe people like $500,000.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be jealous of. His pants?
No.
Like,
definitely not. But we're almost finished.
Almost there.
Almost
oh God,
there,
we
guys.
have an end time? Thank God.
Yes.
And that's the thing.
I have failed
about,
at
these
Fortnite.
assholes are going to gloat. Let them. Okay, fine. They're going to gloat. Would any of you guys trade places with those sad, pathetic fucks?
I got invited to go onto Mike Dunford's stream.
But no,
Mike,
guys,
who's been right the whole time.
They are all horrible, pathetic, miserable, worthless people. You know,
wow, really?
So who gives a shit what they think?
Check out my net worth, Ty.
Let them have their moment. I mean,
I would prefer that Vic can get
practicing attorney spending hours and hours every day on Twitter. That's just
it gets really good right here.
You ain't got no clients.
Wait,
Nick has no clients.
You're not a lawyer. I mean,
Nick's not a lawyer.
Hey,
that's kind of the deal.
Rude.
No, you got clients.
And of course, Ty will be welcome back on the show.
By the way,
wait.
The first person that called me when I sent a text out to several people telling them what happened. First person to call me was one of your uncles.
Oh yeah.
Just to say, hey, you okay?
Amane Mizuhashi.
But I'm not your family's lawyer.
Was sunk and you knew there was a considerable chance of failure. Do you think it was still worth fighting for? Yes. To Vic, his legal team, and his supporters. Yes. Yes, of course I think it was worth fighting for. I still think Vic is in a better place now than he would have been if he hadn't fought. I think if Vic hadn't fought, he would be dead.
He put the bar about as low as it could be. But probably because I think he would have killed himself.
This is something that people say a lot, and I don't know where it's coming from. They just want Vic to kill himself. It's like, no, we want Vic to keep his hands to himself and probably pay the money he owes people. Like, if those two things happen, I've got no reason to talk about Vic anymore. Like, I would very much like it if he would apologize to the woman I saw him grab. And if he did that and she accepted his apology, I would not mention Vic Mignogna's name ever again.
Yeah.
Easy. Ever again. I would prefer that my life not be about this. Like, and it's honestly, it's not. Like, I don't think about this stuff day to day. Like, when it comes up, it comes up. But it's amazing to me that, like, you have to have that, I guess, kind of audience that Nick has, where they'll believe everything he says just because he's saying it.
Yeah.
But like, what the like? I guess what I don't understand is, like, I feel like I feel like Ty Beard, because I'm like, if you're a fan of Vic and you're on Twitter 24 hours a day saying shit that's wrong and getting called out because it's wrong, and you're saying things that are demonstrably untrue, and you're still doing it after 4 years, like,
they
holy
should just
shit.
join Comicsgate.
Like, they're not like, and I've got to be honest here. Like, a lot of the most toxic fans that Vic has on Twitter, like, I know exactly who all of them are. And to the end, like, they are kids at home in their parents' house on computers. They're like 20-something years old. The biggest thing is people think that they're 12. It's like, no, these guys are like 25 and 26. They are definitely autistic, and their parents are tired of hearing about it. Like, their parents are like, yeah, I talked to him. I'm going to talk to him again. And I just feel terrible for these parents who are, like, trying to deal with this kid, and they have no idea what their kids are getting up to on the internet. They have no idea.
Yeah.
But these kids have nothing but time. They have disabilities.
Yep.
Like, that's the people that are fighting this. Like, they have real problems. They will just listen to and do what they're told, because they feel they're hearing someone like Nick, who's an authority.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that, like, they listen to Tug because he follows the case better than anybody else about
the Johnny Depp,
Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I'm like,
what?
This guy is like 1 teaspoon of moonshine away from being a one-man hootenanny.
Yeah, that guy's a major fucking joke.
Yeah, like, this, you should not be listening to that umbrella guy for anything.
But it makes no sense to say, well, he follows the legal case. Well, he doesn't know what he's reading half the time.
Right.
And the only thing
you could be doing that for yourself.
He shows up at the beginning of the trial, the Heard Depp trial, and he's on Nick's stream for the first few days until it became apparent that every lawyer that wanted to come on Nick's stream didn't want to share a screen with Tug, right? And all Tug could talk about was gossipy shit, right?
And that's the other thing too. I get, like,
because he didn't understand any of the legal concepts. He doesn't know what any of that shit means. He may have read it, but he doesn't know. Like, he at one point, because they had to give a list of witnesses, right? So you have to give this to the court. You have to give them all this information. And on that list, it included these people's addresses and phone numbers, which is required by the court. And Tug says, they're doxing hundreds of people. Amber Heard doxing hundreds of people because it was a required filing.
What I like is, wait, this is relevant. Do you guys remember when Ty Beard was going to represent Tug?
No, but God, I wish that would have happened.
Oh, what
yes,
was that one
yes.
over?
It was. Oh no, it was after the mailbox incident.
It was. Oh yeah.
It was following that, and that's why Ty was like,
Ren.
Yeah, and Tug was like, I've hired Ty, and Ty was like, yeah, like, fuck you guys out there on the internet, fuck it, like, it was the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah. And then you've got Tug, who calls himself a mental health diagnostician. That's what he does for a living.
That's not a job.
Well,
it is. A diagnostician is a doctor. He's not a doctor.
Right? But he's not licensed to practice any form of mental health care in the state of Tennessee.
Any type of anything. He's not licensed. He's not licensed to do anything ever.
He has no sort of medical or therapy license in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And people, like, you point that out and they're like, but he never said that. And then you show them a tweet and they're like, but that's not what he means. And you're like, he just fucking said it like 3 times. So they don't care about the truth. They get sucked into the personality. Like I said, they become friends. They become these weird internet one-sided friendships. And then the next thing you know, they'll defend him to the death.
Yep.
Someone said, all that happened was that Vic lost the defamation suit he put forth. Accusations of sexual misconduct are still completely unproven. But go ahead, open up the door for another defamation suit. Yes. Yes, please. Do you need my address? Let's do it.
But anyways, guys, I am so tired. We've been streaming for 3 hours.
3:15. This is our longest stream ever.
It's not often that you get to hear my voice, so I imagine you're just rigid.
I've been jerking off this whole time,
right?
Emmett.
But here's the thing: if it lasts longer than 4 hours, you need to go to the ER.
And on that note,
he's quote unquote so tired.
Yeah,
he's probably gone through like 4 boxes of Kleenex.
Yeah, I've been wanting a cigarette for so long. So
I broke down and had one in the house.
You're gross.
Gasp.
Yeah. So we have a special clip for you guys.
Cool.
I wanted to be friends with him. I can't even show pictures, but with
wrong. I am friends with him. I would love to post pictures, but I can't because if I post pictures, it causes him harm. That's stupid. Because of people like you.